champ now.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, champ?
I'm surprised. I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Craig, one time during my career, I was on a Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Salute to Miss Cass. Without her, none of this would be possible. Salute to Mike Masick. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Storian. Today, the life and career of John the Beast Mugabi. John the Beast Mugabi has the family today. It's Friday. We're at the end of another big week of boxing history. And we're going to look at John the Beast Mugabi today. Finish up our week of boxing history in the 1980s for the great 1980s fighter, John the Beast. And we're also going to look at today a short history of boxing in the United States after we get finished with the beast. But yeah, tomorrow, Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fundora. I'm picking Sebastian by decision in that one. But we're right up on it now. One day away. Good card, too. I guess the weigh-in is today, or maybe they already had the weigh-in. But it's just a wake-up now. Keith wins. It's not no huge upset. Keith is a very talented boxer. But I think he got to get off to a good start. Can't fall too far behind and have to play catch up against Fundora. I don't think that'd be too good for Keith. But we'll see. We're right up on it now. The fight is tomorrow. But today, we're going to talk about John the Beast Mugabi as promised. But first, we're going to have our fight of the day today, as we always start out with. So let's get ready to prepare for that. Fight of today. Fight of the day today. Okay, let's go. Okay, without further ado now, let's get into today's fight of the day. Okay, today's fight of the day is Shane Mosley versus Vernon Forrest 1. This fight took place in 2002. They had two high-profile fights between the two. This will be one. The rivalry continues because they had a nice rivalry going on in the amateurs. Now, this one was on January 26, 2002. The first fight, January 26, 2002. Mosley, Forrest. The rivalry continues. Let's get into it. Okay, the rivalry between Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest was a notable chapter in welterweight boxing, spanning their amateur careers and two high-profile professional title fights in 2002. As amateurs, Forrest defeated Mosley by points in a 3-round fight at the 1992 U.S. Olympic trials, preventing the favored Mosley from advancing further. The first professional fight took place on January 26, 2002 at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City. So the undefeated WBC welterweight champion Mosley, 38-0, 35 knockouts, pitted against the IBF title holder Forrest, 33 wins, 0 knockouts. 33 wins, 0 losses, 26 knockouts. In a unification fight, Forrest came in as a 7-1 underdog. He won by unanimous decision, 115-100, 117-108, 118-108, after knocking Mosley down twice in the second round and dominating with his jab and right hand, marking Mosley's first career loss and earning Forrest the WBC title. In the rematch on July 20th, 2002, at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, Forrest retained his WBC welterweight crown with another unanimous decision victory over Mosley. This time, 117-111, 116-112, and 115-113 over Mosley, who showed improvement from the first fight, but could not overcome Forrest's technical edge and reach advantage in a close, more competitive fight this time. These fights highlighted Forrest's mastery over Mosley, elevating Forrest to Fighter of the Year status in 2002 by the Ring magazine, while Mosley rebounded with subsequent wins but never faced Forrest again as a pro before Forrest's tragic murder in 2009. Okay, let's look at a little background of the fighters now. First, Sugar Shane Mosley. Okay, take a look at the two fighters. First, Sugar Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley, known as Sugar Shane, entered the pro boxing scene with an undefeated record of 38-0 in this knockout against Forrest, including 35 knockouts, establishing himself as one of the premier fighters in the welterweight division. As a two-division world champion, Mosley had captured the IBF junior welterweight title in 1999 and transitioned successfully to welterweight, winning the WBC and lineal titles with a stunning unanimous decision victory over Oscar De La Hoya in June of 2000. He defended the welterweight crown 3 times, a unanimous decision over Shambo Mitchell in November 2000, a third-round stoppage of Adrian Stone in July 2001, and a unanimous decision rematch win over De La Hoya in September 2001, solidifying his status as the top pound-for-pound fighter entering 2002, according to the Ring magazine rankings. Standing at 5 feet 9 inches with a 73.5-inch reach, mostly compact frame, relied on his explosive athleticism. Okay, let's take a look at the Viper, Vernon Forrest, the Viper. Vernon Forrest, the Viper, approached the matchup with an equally impressive undefeated pro ledger of 33-0 with 26 knockouts, having turned pro in 1992 after a distinguished amateur career. Forrest claimed the IBF welterweight title in May 2001 by defeating Raul Frank by unanimous decision in his first world title fight, marking a breakthrough after earlier regional successes like the NABF, North American Boxing Federation welterweight crown. At 6 feet tall with a 78.5-inch reach, Forrest possessed a significant size advantage in the division, leveraging his lanky build for defensive mastery. His professional path included a brief stint at junior middleweight, but focused primarily on welterweight contention by 2002. The stylistic matchup highlighted intriguing contrast. Mosley's renowned hand speed and devastating power punching allowed him to overwhelm opponents with combinations and inside aggression, as demonstrated in his high volume outputs against elite competition. In opposition, Forrest employed a disciplined jab to control distance and set up precise counterpunches, using his reach to frustrate aggressive advances and maintain ring geometry, a tactic that had proven effective in his title-winning performance against Frank. Their shared amateur history including an encounter in the early 1990s, added intrigue to this professional collision without overshadowing the established pro credentials. Okay, so now let's take a look at the fight between Sugar Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest, fight of the day today. This is one. They had two of them between them. Okay? Okay, this is the first fight between these two gentlemen, Sugar Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest. The first fight between Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest took place on January 26, 2002 at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York, as a scheduled 12-round WBC welterweight title fight. Now, the early rounds were highly competitive, with both fighters exchanging sharp combinations in a measured opening. In round one, Mosley pressed forward with his trademark aggression, landing body shots, while Forrest used his longer reach to counter with jabs, setting a tactical tone. Round two escalated dramatically when an accidental head clash opened a cut above Mosley's left eye early on, forcing a brief pause. Shortly after, Forrest unleashed a flurry of combinations that dropped Mosley twice, once with a left hook to the body and again with a right hand to the head, both ruled as knockdowns by referee Steve Smoger. As the fight progressed into the middle rounds, Forrest established dominance with his precise jab, which consistently disrupted Mosley's advances and allowed him to follow up with harder power shots to the head and body. Mosley, known for his explosive speed, mounted rallies in rounds 4 and 5, connecting with overhand rights and uppercuts to close the distance. But Forrest's footwork and ring generalship kept him at bay, preventing Mosley from fully unleashing his power. By rounds 6 through 8, Mosley's output began to fatigue under the pressure of Forrest's volume punching, with Forrest landing cleaner, more effective strikes that visibly slowed Mosley. In the late rounds, the action intensified as Mosley dug deep to rally, but he found himself in significant trouble in round 10 when Forrest trapped him on the ropes with a barrage of hooks and uppercuts, hurting Mosley badly, though he survived the round without a knockdown. Despite the momentum favoring Forrest, Mosley survived the round and the final 2 frames without further incidents, completing all 12 rounds without a stoppage. Tactically, Forrest's 2-inch reach advantage, 73 to Mosley's 71, proved crucial in neutralizing Mosley's inside power game. Okay, there's Forrest, the winner. Now, the fight concluded with a unanimous decision victory for Vernon Forrest after 12 rounds, as judged by Tom Kaczmarek, 115 and 110, Malvina Layton, 117 and 108, and Julie Letterman, 118 and 108, all in favor of Vernon Forrest. This result marked the first professional loss for Shane Mosley, adjusting his record to 38 and 1. Forrest, meanwhile, captured the WBC welterweight title in what was Mosley's 4th defense, and also claimed the vacant Ring Magazine welterweight championship. There you have it, the fight of the day. Vernon Forrest versus Shane Mosley. There's your winner, the Viper, Vernon Forrest. Mike Grimm in the building. Salute, Mike Grimm. Happy Friday. We just finished the fight of the day. Vernon Forrest the Viper Vernon Forrest won it over Sugar Shane Mosley. And there's Forrest celebrating. Okay, so today is going to be the life and career of John the Beast Mugabi. as advertised. There's the Beast in his biggest fight, Hagler, which he lost, but he gave Hagler 11 good rounds of action. They was trading some leather, but Hagler wore him down and got him out of there in round 11. Beast had a very good career. Okay, and we're gonna talk about it today. John the Beast Mugabi. Okay, but how's everybody? We're at the end of another big week of boxing history. This week was focused on the 1980s. Okay, later in the show, we're going to talk about a little boxing history in the United States, too. We will have time. Okay. Life and career of John the Beast Mugabi. Keith Thurman. Keith one-time Thurman. And Towering Inferno, Sebastian and Fundora tomorrow. Guess they already had the weigh-in. I don't watch them anymore, no way, because I don't see those ceremonial things. We want to see the actual weigh-in. But okay, John the Beast Mugabi. Okay, let's go. John Mugabi was born March 4th, 1960. Is a Ugandan former professional boxer who competed from 1980 to 1999. Best known for capturing a silver medal in the men's welterweight division at the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow as Uganda's sole medalist that year. Nicknamed the Beast for his ferocious punching power and aggressive style, he turned pro shortly after the Olympics and built an impressive record of 42 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw, including 39 knockouts. That's 93% knockout rate for the Beast, okay? Yeah, 42 wins. Only 3 men went the distance with him, okay? He got 39 of them up out of there. 92.8. So, yeah, 93% knockout ratio for the Beast. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? Happy Friday. As advertised, John the Beast Mugabi today. Like I was just saying, 42-7, 39 knockouts. That's 93% knockout ratio. Okay, Al Booger. Let's continue. Mugabi held the WBC super welterweight title from 1989 to 1990 after stopping Rene Jacques by first round TKO on July 8, 1989 in Orleans, France, only to lose it in his first defense to Terry Norris by first round knockout on March 31st, 1990 in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so he won the title, his first title by knockout. First round knockout. He lost it in his first defense by first round knockout. Born in Kampala, Uganda, Mugabi stood at 5 feet 9 inches with a 74-inch reach and fought in an orthodox stance, often overwhelming opponents with his explosive combinations and body work early in fights. His amateur career peaked with the Olympic silver medal, earned after a semifinal victory over Kazimierz Serba of Poland, but a 4-1 decision loss to Andres Aldama of Cuba in the final. Prior to that, he claimed silver at the 1976 Junior World Championships. Turning pro on December 5th, 1980, with a first-round stoppage of Omer Karadinas in West Germany, Mugabi went undefeated in his first 26 fights, all by knockout, before challenging for his first world title against Marvelous Marvin Hagler on March 10th, 1986 at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada, where he was stopped in the 11th round of a competitive middleweight unification fight, despite nearly closing Hagler's right eye. Subsequent notable fights included a third-round stoppage loss to Dwayne Thomas for the vacant WBC super welterweight title in 1986, and a second-round stoppage of Kevin Watt in 1988, paving the way for his WBC super welterweight reign. Later career setbacks included a loss to Gerald McClellan in 1991, after which Mugabi fought sporadically until 1999. In the 19-year career, 1980 to 1999. Let's look at his early life. John the Beast Mugabe's early life. Okay. Upbringing in Uganda. Now, John Mugabi was born on March 4th, 1960, in Kampala, Uganda. He grew up in a modest household in the shanty township of Kiswa, located in Kampala's Nakara division, amid the socio-economic challenges of post-independence Uganda. His father, Timoteo, from the Mutoro ethnic group, died when Mugabi was young, while his mother, from the Manyoro group, raised him alone until her death in the 1980s. And the family knew each other only by a single name, reflecting their humble circumstances. Mugabe's early years were shaped by poverty and a slum environment that was later razed, limiting access to opportunities and stability. Uganda's political instability intensified during Idi Amin's regime from 1971 to 1979, a period of economic hardship, widespread fear, and turmoil that profoundly affected daily life for families like Mugabe. From childhood, Mugabe displayed natural physical strength and tireless athleticism, often overpowering older boys in street fights and local soccer games. These traits emerged in an environment where survival demanded resilience, eventually drawing him toward boxing as a potential escape from poverty. Okay, so his introduction to boxing for the Beast. John Mugabe began his boxing journey at the age of 6 in Kampala, Uganda, where he trained informally twice a day at local clubs, often prioritizing sessions at the gym over attending school. His early involvement centered around the Lugogo Gym, a key hub for aspiring fighters in the capital, where he honed basic skills under the guidance of local coaches amid Uganda's resource-scarce sports environment. By age 9, Mugabe had already demonstrated exceptional punching power, knocking out older boys in sparring sessions and earning a reputation as a prodigy in Uganda's amateur scene. This raw talent was nurtured in a national program supported by dictator Idi Amin, which provided limited but crucial resources to young athletes, allowing Mugabe to develop discipline and focus. Motivated by the need to escape grinding poverty, stemming from his father's work as a low-paid maintenance laborer, and to find structure in a turbulent society, Mugabe viewed boxing as a visible escape route toward international opportunities, otherwise unavailable in Uganda. He persisted despite hardships, seeing the sport as a pathway to personal and national pride. Seeking superior facilities and competitive exposure, Mugabe relocated to England shortly after turning pro in December 1980, transitioning from informal local training to structured preparation under coaches like George Francis, which elevated his technical abilities and marked his entry in the global boxing circuits. Okay, so now let's take a deeper look at the Beast's amateur career. Deeper look at the Beast's amateur career now. John the Beast Mugabe. amateur career. Early achievements. John Mugabe's early amateur career was marked by rapid ascent in the welterweight division, beginning with domestic dominance in Uganda, where he captured multiple national titles starting at the age of 14. These victories established him as a prodigy on the local scene, built on the foundational training he received shortly after being introduced to the sport. He further solidified his reputation with an undefeated streak in local dual meets against opponents from other African nations, showcasing consistent superiority in regional competitions. Mugabe's talent gained international recognition at the 1976 Junior World Championships, where at just 16 years old, he advanced to the welterweight final and secured a silver medal after a narrow loss to Harold Graham of Great Britain. Another pretty good pro, Harold Graham, yeah. This performance highlighted his potential against global competition. 2 years later, at the 1978 All Africa Games in Algeria, Mugabi earned the bronze medal in the welterweight division, defeating strong continental rivals en route to the semifinals. Even in these formative years, Mugabi distinguished himself with exceptional knockout power, registering more than 20 stoppages in his early amateur fights and earning a fearsome reputation for his aggressive, power-oriented style. Okay, and he did get a silver medal at the Olympics. So let's talk about Olympic and international competitions for the Beast. He lost to this great Cuban fighter named Andres Adama. Yeah, but he got the silver. Let's talk about his Olympic career for the Beast. Now, Mugabe's most prominent achievement in his amateur career came at the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow, where he represented Uganda in the welterweight division. Competing as a 20-year-old, he advanced through the tournament with impressive power, securing knockouts in his first 3 fights against Georges Coffey of the Republic of the Congo in the round of 32 on July 22nd. Paul Rassimimanya of Madagascar in the round of 16 on July 27th. And Mehmet Bogajetsi of Yugoslavia in the quarterfinals on July 30th. In the semifinals on July 31st. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, here we go. In the semifinals on July 31st, Mugabi earned a narrow 3-2 split decision victory over Poland's Kazimierz Zerba to reach the final. There, on August 2nd, he faced Cuba's Andres Aldama and lost by a 4-1 decision, earning the silver medal as the only medalist for Uganda at the Games. Okay? In any sport, the Beast got the only medal for his country. Lost to the great Cuban amateur Andres Aldama. Aldama was another one of those Cubans that wouldn't defect. He would have been a great pro down there around welterweight. He would have been right in there with the 4 kings too, but he didn't want to defect from his country and he couldn't turn pro in Cuba at that time. But wouldn't that have been something? Aldama and Sugar Ray and Hearns and Duran and all of them? Wow. But anyway, Mugabi lost to him in the final, but he did get the silver medal. Only one his country got in the Olympics. Okay? So, beyond the Olympics, Mugabi excelled in international dual meets, showcasing his skills against teams from Europe and Africa. In February of 1979, as part of Uganda's national team, he competed in a dual meet against Poland in Warsaw, contributing to victories in high-level international exchanges that honed his technique against diverse styles. These competitions, along with regional events like the 1978 All Africa Games, where he won bronze, marked his emergence as on the global stage and solidified his reputation as a formidable puncher with a high knockout rate in amateur fights. Throughout his amateur tenure, Mugabi amassed an amateur record of 195 wins and 5 losses in 200 total amateur fights, reflecting his aggressive style and raw power developed in Uganda's competitive boxing scene. Immediately following the Olympics, he opted to turn pro, relocating to England under the guidance of trainer Mickey Duff, ending his amateur career on a high note. Mugabe's silver medal served as a significant boost to Uganda's boxing profile, positioning him as a national hero during a period of international boycott controversies. Uganda participated despite withdrawals by several nations, primarily from the West, led by the United States, in protest of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. As Team Uganda's flag bearer, his achievement highlighted the country's resilience and talent in the sport of boxing, finishing 32nd overall, with Mugabe's medal standing out as a silver bullet amid otherwise modest results. Okay, let's look at the Beast's pro career now. Professional career of John the Beast Mugabi. This the Beast. Okay, pro career, John the Beast. Appreciate everybody for stopping by today. Okay, debut and rise. Pro debut and rise. John Mugabi transitioned to pro boxing shortly after his silver medal win at the 1980 Moscow Olympics, making his debut on December 5th, 1980 in West Germany against Weimer Karadeniz of Turkey. At the age of 20, Mugabi secured a first-round TKO victory, overwhelming his opponent with powerful punches to signal his arrival in the paid ranks. By the end of 1982, Mugabi had compiled an undefeated record of 12-0, with all wins gained by knockout, including stoppages over Curtis Taylor in March and Doug Demings in October. Seeking improved opportunities in matchmaking, he relocated from Uganda from England now to the United States, because when he first turned pro, he went to England. Then after a couple of years, he came to the United States seeking improved opportunities. So he relocated to the United States later in 1982, where he continued his dominant run against tougher opponents. Notable early wins included a knockout of Eddie Gazzo on October 22nd, 1983, and Curtis Parker on November 19th, 1983, both in the super welterweight division at 154 pounds, solidifying his reputation as an emerging force in the pro ranks. The Beast came on the scene, stopping everybody. First 12 knockouts. Matter of fact, first 26 was knockouts, but let's continue. Then the pro arena, Mugabi emerged as an aggressive pressure fighter, relentlessly advancing on our opponents while relying on his devastating left hook to break them down and secure stoppage wins. This style fueled an extraordinary 26-fight knockout streak from his debut through much of 1984, showcasing his raw power and ability to end fights decisively. Now, Mugabi's rise gained further momentum in 1984 with wins over rated contenders, such as his unanimous decision win over former WBC super welterweight title challenger James Hard Rock Green on February 4th, followed by a fourth-round knockout of fellow power puncher Frank the Animal Fletcher on August 18th. Those were two big wins there. James Hard Rock Green, Frank the Animal Fletcher, two contenders in super welterweight at that time. These performances, along with a knockout of Wilbert Johnson in May established Mugabe's dominance in the 154-pound class and positioned him as a top contender by 1985. Okay, so then came world title pursuits. World title pursuits for Mugabe. Okay, now Mugabe campaigned primarily at junior middleweight before his first major world title opportunity came in the middleweight division on March 10th, 1986, when he challenged Marvelous Marvin Hagler for the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, undisputed then. WBA, WBC, IBF challenged Hagler for the undisputed middleweight title. For that fight, Mugabe weighed in at 157 pounds compared to Hagler's 159, making a step up in weight class. Entering the fight undefeated with 26 knockouts and 26 pro fights, Mugabe pressured Hagler early, but was stopped by TKO in the 11th round after sustaining heavy damage. After rebuilding his career back in the super welterweight division, Mugabe earned another title shot against WBC champion Rene Jacquat on July 8, 1989 at the Metropolis in France. This was back at super welterweight, junior middleweight, okay, 154. After he lost to Hagler, he dropped back down. Now Mugabe won the fight by first round knockout at 2 minutes 53 seconds when Jacquat slipped, twisted his ankle, and could not continue, marking Mugabe's first world championship. Mugabe made one successful defense before facing mandatory challenger Terry Norris on March 31st, 1990 at the Sun Dome in Tampa, Florida. Norris, a 22-year-old prospect, knocked Mugabe down early and secured the WBC super welterweight title with a first-round knockout at 2 minutes 11 seconds, ending Mugabe's brief reign. He won it with a first-round knockout, and then he lost it by first-round knockout. Okay? So this loss highlighted Mugabe's power-punching style, but also his vulnerability to speed and precision in championship fights, spanning 1986 to 1990. Now let's look at some notable fights. Notable fights for the Beast. That's him and Hagler again. That was notable. Now, one of John Mugabe's most notable pro fights, of course, was his challenge for the undisputed middleweight title against Marvelous Marvin Hagler on March 10th, 1986 at Caesars in Las Vegas. And he entered that fight with an undefeated record of 26-0, all by knockout. And he earned the shot as the top-ranked contender by all sanctioning bodies and was known for his devastating power and aggressive style. And the fight was a grueling war, with Mugabe rocking Hagler early, landing heavy shots that nearly closed the champion's right eye, and winning several of the first 4 rounds on some judges' scorecards. Hagler rallied in the middle rounds, hurting Mugabe badly in the 6th round with a barrage that left the challenger wobbly. But Mugabe's resilience kept the fight competitive through 10 rounds, with scorecards showing Hagler ahead 97-94, 96-95, and 97-94. Close fight through 10. In the 11th round, Hagler unleashed a flurry of right hooks, dropping Mugabe for the count at 1 minute 29 seconds, securing his 11th title defense in what many considered his toughest fight. Both fighters were hospitalized afterward, urinating blood from the intense punishment, underscoring the fight's brutality. Yeah, that's them tough body shots. Both went to the hospital urinating blood after the fight. Yeah, that was a tough one. They said that was Hagler's toughest fight. And Hagler was in some tough ones. Now, Mugabe's performance against Hagler highlighted his power-punching style and heart, earning praise as one of the closest challengers to the dominant champion Hagler. Later career fights included a 9th round knockout loss to Julian Jackson in 1992, while challenging for the WBA middleweight title, and a unanimous decision loss to Reggie Johnson in 1993, further showcasing his resilience against technical opponents despite advancing age. His overall record of 42 wins with 39 knockouts cemented his legacy as a feared beast in the ring, with high-profile wars like the Hagler Clash, elevating his status among 1980s punchers. John the Beast. Professional record for the Beast. Okay. John the Beast Mugabi. Excuse me for a minute. Let me take a look at this. Is finishing up the week of the 80s with a great 1980s fighter. John the Beast. Okay, let's continue. We got a short history of boxing in the United States coming up too. Very good. Y'all will enjoy that, I promise. I think we did it like 3 years ago. That was one of my first shows. People like Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, Al Booger will probably remember it, but it's been 3 years, so. And it's like the best boxing history piece I've seen on the United States boxing history. So yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Let's finish off the Beast though. Okay, professional record. The John Mugabi compiled a pro record of 42 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. Of course, 50 total fights from December 5th, 1980 to January 23rd, 1999. He secured 39 of his victories by knockout, achieving a knockout rate of 92.8%, which is 93% rounded off. Knockout ratio of 93%. Anytime you get up into the 90s, you are a verified power puncher, okay? So we're just going to review his career real quick now. Now, Mugabe's debut resulted in a knockout victory, and he maintained an initial streak of 26 consecutive knockout wins before his first defeat, which was Hagler. His final fight was a loss by TKO in the second round against Glenn Kelly. 1999, he was up in age and everything then. Throughout his career, Mugabi captured the WBC Super Welterweight title in July 1989 by defeating Rene Jacquard, and held it until March 1990 when he lost it to Turbo Norris. He was also ranked among the top 10 contenders in super welterweight and middleweight divisions at various points. He did make one successful title defense of that belt before he lost it to Turbo Terry Norris. Okay, the Beast, yeah. He did have one successful defense, but he won it by first round knockout and then turned around and lost it by first round knockout. Okay, post-retirement life for the Beast. Post-retirement life. Coaching and training. Following his retirement from pro boxing in 1999, John Mugabi settled in Brisbane, Australia, where he began a second career in coaching and training. He focused on mentoring young fighters, drawing on his experience as a former world champion to guide aspiring boxers in technical skills and conditioning. Mugabi trained at prominent local facilities, including Dundee's Boxing and Fitness, where he collaborated with strength coach Dundee Kim to develop prospects in the welterweight divisions. Yeah, he was in Australia then, as he retired. He went to Australia, started coaching and training young fighters. By 2014, Mugabi had taken on a role coaching the Australian national boxing team, contributing to the development of Oceania's boxing talent through structured training programs. His involvement extended to local Australian fighters, some of whom advanced to international competitions, benefiting from Mugabe's emphasis on disciplined preparation and strategic fighting approaches, honed during his own career. Mugabe's coaching style prioritized building resilience and power, reflecting the knockout prowess that defined his 26 consecutive pro knockouts to start his career. And yet Mugabi never had any kind of gas tank issues or anything, never, ever during his career. Mugabi has also worked to promote boxing beyond Australia including efforts to support Ugandan talents by sharing expertise with emerging fighters from his home country. In 2021, he returned to Uganda to advocate for the sport's revival, highlighting the decline in standards and urging government intervention to provide better resources for young boxers facing socioeconomic challenges. As of 2025, Mugabi continues part-time training in Brisbane, Australia, focusing on youth development programs that address financial pitfalls in boxing, while mirroring his journey from poverty to championship success. He is still a trainer currently. Personal life and family. Personal life and family. For the beast. Okay, here he is. John Mugabi has fathered several children, including daughters Mildred Prudence Mugabi, who resides in Tampa, Florida, and Maureen Mugabi, who lives in Uganda. He believes he has 5 children in total, though details on others remain unclear, and he has expressed regret over periods of separation from his family due to career demands and personal circumstances. In 2015, Mugabi reunited with Maureen after 28 years apart, an emotional meeting facilitated during his visit to Uganda. He apologized publicly for his absence, noting that Maureen's mother had remarried and raised her in Kampala following his departure. Mugabi's son, John Mugabi Jr., made his pro boxing debut in June 2025 with a first-round knockout victory. Yeah, we're going to have to check up on him. John Mugabi Jr. made his debut last June with a first-round knockout, just like his father. First fight was a first-round knockout. Right? John Mugabi Jr.'s first fight was a first-round knockout. We're going to have to check on him. Now, Mugabi relocated to Brisbane, Australia in the early 1990s during a 5-year career layoff following his 1990 title loss, and continued his comeback fights there until retiring after his final fight in January 1999. He has resided there for over 2 decades, maintaining strong cultural ties to his Ugandan roots through periodic visits, including a notable return in 2015 after 21 years abroad to attend family events and receive recognition. Despite his expatriation, Mugabi has emphasized his enduring connection to Uganda, often expressing a desire to contribute to his homeland while building a quiet family life in Australia. Mugabi has managed lingering effects from career injuries, such as an eye socket fracture from his 1986 fight with Dwayne Thomas that required optical surgery. Post-retirement, he is focused on a low-key lifestyle without major scandals, including weight management efforts that saw him shed 30 kilograms through training. In terms of recognition, he was inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in 2011, honoring his contributions to the sport. Mugabi has also engaged in philanthropy by supporting Ugandan youth sports initiatives, volunteering as a trainer at the Police Youth Club to nurture emerging boxing talent, and advocating for government investment to revive the sport in its native country. And there you have it, the life and career of John the Beast Mugabi. Okay, so now let's look at a short history of boxing in the United States now. This is pretty good. We did this like 3 years ago, but yeah, we're gonna take another look at it right now. Good history of boxing in the good old US of A. Okay. But how's everybody? It's Friday. We got The Tower Inferno, Sebastian Fedora versus Keith One Time Thurman tomorrow. I got Sebastian by decision. Please, Keith have a chance. It's going to be very important for him to get off to a good start. He can't fall behind because he had too many disadvantages in height and reach to have to play catch up against Fedora, who's become very good at fighting from range, using his reach advantage and stuff. So yeah, Keith got a mandatory for Keith to get off to a good start, I think. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight. I will be watching. Those were pretty decent cards. You find Arnie was telling me some of the people on it. I forgot, but yeah. But the main event is worth it. The main event is worth the price of admission, right? Okay. A short history of boxing in the United States now. Yeah, I knew the beast wasn't a very long profile. But this is pretty good here. Short history of boxing in the United States. Let's take a look at that. Pictures and everything. Okay. Now, the sport of boxing has been an integral part of American culture for well over 100 years. Even during low points in boxing history, plenty of men and women still took great interest in watching and participating. The sport was never going to disappear, and it never will. The sweet science has catalyzed new interest in many people and kept countless others from going to or returning to prison. There's much more to it than just two people hitting each other in the face. It takes a lot of practice to develop the agility, quickness, guile, and techniques necessary to be successful in the squared circle. It is said that immigrants introduced boxing to the United States as they immigrated to the northeast part of the country throughout the 1860s and 1870s, gaining prominence in cities like New York and Boston during the last quarter of the 19th century, and fought with only bare knuckles. There were no state-sanctioned bare knuckle fights. Bouts were organized and champions were recognized by the popular men's lifestyle magazine, the National Police Gazette. In 1867, the first set of codified boxing rules to mandate the use of gloves was established in London, England, known as the Queensberry Rule, and was adopted in the United States in 1889. John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckle heavyweight champion and the first with gloves under the new rules, defeating James Corbett in 1892. Yeah, John L. Sullivan was the last man to win the bare knuckle heavyweight championship and the first to win it with gloves on. Okay. Mike Mazik says one time getting the knockout. He get knocked out, Mike, or he winning by knockout? I think Mike is saying Keith getting knocked out. Yeah, okay. So Mike got Fedora by knockout. Yeah, I got Fedora winning. Might get a late knockout, but definitely a decision. Okay, appreciate you, Mike Mazik. Yeah, John L. Sullivan, last man to hold the bare knuckle heavyweight championship and the first to hold a glove heavyweight championship, winning it in 1892. Now, as the sport gained more prominence, the Amateur Athletic Union, or the AAU, was established on January 21st, 1888. And the AAU held its first event in April 1888, overseeing boxing, fencing, and wrestling competitions. In 1900, New York State passed the heavily restricted Lewis Law, whose real aim was to effectively eradicate the sport entirely. The new law effectively banned prize fighting and other fights unless the two competitors belonged to an exclusive athletic club and the fights were held in private venues. But fortunately, states in the western part of the United States were a lot more lenient and tolerable with allowing boxing to take place which played a major role in keeping the sport alive. Now, during this era, champions were determined by the popular consensus expressed in newspapers. Remember the old newspaper decisions? Yeah. No judges. The fight went the distance. Nobody got stopped, and they both just ended it after going so many rounds with no round limits neither. Then newspaper people at ringside would print a winner in the paper the next day. Okay, so boxing in the 1920s. Boxing in the 20s. Okay, yes, what I thought, Mike. He says Fundora gonna knock Keith out. Okay. Yeah, I got Fundora by decision. Mike Masick got the towering Inferno by knockout. I wouldn't be surprised. Late knockout. Okay. Boxing in the 1920s now. That's Jack Dempsey on the screen there. The Vanessa Marla. Okay. So in 1920, the Lewis Law was repealed and replaced by the Walker Law, which established the New York State Athletic Commission, or the NYSAC, NYSAC. And the law also implemented various rules and regulations that were in the best interest of the fighters' safety and to make the sport more palatable towards a broader audience. Changes included round limits, 15 round limits for title fights, mandated medical personnel be present for the entire show, and banning certain moves like headbutting and throwing your opponent to the mat. Then the following year, the National Boxing Association, the NBA, was established, which comprised 13 states. And the NBA later changed its name to the World Boxing Association, the WBA, in 1962, and is one of the leading boxing promotions in the world today, currently. So, boxing gained immense popularity because of the new changes. The sport rose to prominence once radio stations began broadcasting the fights live, and it was typical to see several thousand people in attendance for major events. Jack Dempsey, who was the heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926, became a household name and was known as one of the big five in American sports, joining the likes of baseball player Babe Ruth, tennis player Bill Tilden, golfer Bobby Jones, and football player Red Grange. And it was said Jack Dempsey was the most popular of them all. Boxing was quickly becoming mainstream and accepted as a legitimate sport in the public eye. You know, after the Walker Law came in and repealed the Lewis Law and made those changes to the sport, right? Made round limits, judges, medical personnel. Yeah, people started liking the sport a little bit better because it was just like a savage spectacle before. But in the 20s was when it really became mainstream. In 1923, Chicago Tribune sports editor Arch Ward was instrumental in creating the Golden Gloves of America. The organization was initially created for holding competitions between amateur fighters from Chicago and New York, where the sport was most popular. It later changed its name in 1962 to the National Golden Gloves and remains the pinnacle and gold standard of amateur boxing competitions today. Okay? Boxing in the 1930s. Here's the brown barber, Joe Louis. Boxing in the 1930s now. We're doing a little short history of boxing in the United States right now. The beast is over. The beast wasn't that long, but yeah. A little short history of boxing in the United States. Boxing in the 1930s. Just as the sport started gaining in popularity, it took a major hit after the stock market crashed in 1929. As the country went through a depression for the rest of the decade, pro boxers also experienced a massive reduction in payouts due to the crippled economy. However, Thanks to a highly competitive heavyweight division, the sport was kept alive by entertaining fighters such as Max Smelling, Max Baer, and Joe Louis, who became champion in 1937 and held the title until his retirement, his first retirement in 1949. Louis is still the only boxer in any weight class to hold a world title for the entirety of a single decade. Yeah, in the 30s, they had like 6 different champions in the first 6 or 7 years of the decade. So during the Depression, the heavyweight division really kept the sport alive. And then boxing in the war-torn 1940s. Boxing in the war-torn 1940s Now, the world was never the same after Nazi Germany invaded Poland in 1939, and the United States was in shock after the infamous bombing of Pearl Harbor by the Japanese on December 7th, 1941. The country shifted its focus to the war effort, and most title fights during the next 3 years were suspended. Many fighters, including Joe Louis, joined the military and fought in the war. Now, the big names like Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, they didn't fight, they did exhibitions and speaking engagements overseas to the troops. Now, Ezra Charles was a pretty big name then, and he had the opportunity to join Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson to do speaking engagements and box exhibitions. But Ezra said, no, I don't want no special treatment. I want to be one of the regular guys. So they sent him to the front lines. He survived it. He had to need his head examined, man. He turned down doing exhibitions and speaking engagements like Joe Louis and Sugar Ray. Ezra said, I want to be a regular soldier. So they said, okay, Ezra, send him to the front lines. Thank you for it in Northern Africa. But he made it back. But wow, that's crazy. I would have really let me do the exhibition. But yeah, he made it back. But yeah, that was really something. Now, while television was still in its infancy in the 40s, stations took advantage of the low cost it took to broadcast the fights compared to other sports. Even though there were very few title fights during the war years, boxing fans were still entertained by highly competitive 10-round fights, and the sport grew even more popular when TV came around. Boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky Graciano, Archie Moore, and Jake LaMotta soon became stars of the sport, with LaMotta and Robinson developing a fierce rivalry, fighting 5 times in just 3 years and 6 times altogether. And then 40s, we had the advent of the murderous road fighters. Murderous road fighters was in that time frame. Throughout much of the 1940s, 8 Black American boxers named Charles Burley, Eddie Booker, Jack Chase, the Coco Kid, Burt Lytell, and Lloyd Marshall, and Aaron Wade, and Holman Williams were heavily avoided by many other prominent boxers of the era, including Sugar Ray Robinson himself, who avoided Charles Burley. 6 of these fighters never received title shots because of corrupt management and oftentimes racism. Instead, many times they had to fight each other just to stay active and make a living from the sport. Lloyd Marshall, the Coco Kid, Eddie Booker, and Charles Burley were all eventually inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And the only title holders out of the group were Jack Chase, who held the California state heavyweight title, and heavyweight middleweight belts, and Eddie Booker, who lost his California state middleweight title to Chase. Yeah, no state titles were big back then. The 2 majors were the New York State Athletic Commission and the National Boxing Association. But those state titles were pretty huge too. And Mexico had a Mexican championship. Yeah. And a couple of the murderous road fighters had the California state title. Okay. Boxing in the 1950s. There's Rocky Marciano. Boxing in the 1950s. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Short history of boxing in the United States right now. Now, as the golden age of economic expansion in the country was taking off, so too was the sport of boxing. Many boxers who fought in the war made their returns to the ring, eager to take advantage of increased paydays brought about by a booming economy. Now, fighters and their managers knew that televised fights were the way to make big money and increase the chances of cashing in on big endorsement deals, right? It was common for big name fighters to get acting roles and date the hottest Hollywood stars of the day. Lamar and Robinson fought each other for the sixth and final time in 1951, but went on to fight many others throughout the decade and into the 60s to the next decade. Considered by some to be the greatest heavyweight of all time, Rocky Marciano is still the only undefeated heavyweight champion in the history of boxing, retiring in 1955, holding a record of 49-0 with 43 knockouts. Only undefeated heavyweight champion in the history of the sport so far. Usyk might get it if he stay away from Carvalho. The golden age of boxing was in full swing, although many of the fights during that era were marred with corruption and mafia influence. More on that later. Yeah, we're going to talk about the mafia today too. More on that in a little while. Boxing in the 1960s. Boxing in the 1960s. In 1962, the NBA changed its name to the World Boxing Association, WBA, because went from National Boxing Association to World Boxing Association because boxing was becoming so international at that time, and a lot of countries were getting their first world champion, so they made it the World Boxing Association. And then members from the NBA and 11 boxing representatives from other countries met in Mexico City on Valentine's Day in 1963, and the World Boxing Council, WBC, was born. As boxing was trying to clean up its public image, a young heavyweight sensation named Cassius Clay started making a lot of noise, both in and out of the ring. At just 22 years old, a few months before changing his name to Muhammad Ali, he beat Sonny Liston to capture the WBA, WBC, and New York State Athletic Commission and Ring Magazine heavyweight world titles in February 1964. Now, Ali was incredibly vocal about his opposition to the United States' involvement in North Vietnam, which was a tiny country in Southeast Asia. 9 fights and 3 years after winning the title from Liston in 1967, he was arrested for refusing to follow conscription orders into the United States Army. Less than 2 months later, he was convicted in 21 minutes for violating the selective service laws and stripped of his titles and boxing licenses, suspended from nearly every commission in the country. Okay? Boxing in the 1970s. Boxing in the 1970s now. Now, the 1970s ushered in what is arguably the best decade for the heavyweight division in history. There's Norton, Foreman, Holmes, Frazier, Ali. Yeah, what is widely thought is the best decade for the heavyweight division in boxing history. Ali was reinstated and came back and won the North American Boxing Federation, NABF heavyweight title in December 1970 by defeating Oscar Bonavena. His conviction was overturned in 1971, in which he suffered his first career loss to Smoking Joe Frazier in an attempt to regain the titles that had been stripped from him 4 years earlier. Now, Ali later regained those titles from George Foreman in October 1974 during the famous Rumble in the Jungle fight, but later lost them to Leon Spinks in February 1978. Now, he avenged his loss half a year later to regain 2 of the 3 titles back, but only fought again 2 more times before retiring in 1981, both losses to Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick, respectively. There were many epic fights between other heavyweight greats such as Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Floyd Patterson, Ken Norton, Leon Spinks, and Chuck Webner. And Chuck Webner became the inspiration behind the Rocky movie franchise that was first released in 1976, Rocky I. They say Sylvester Stallone was home watching the Ali Webner fight. That's where he got the idea, because Webner was just getting beat up by Ali, but kept on coming. And there's BV Otis. What's up, BV Otis? From the Sports Talk Network. You missed the Beast, BV Otis, George the Beast, but now we got a little short history of boxing in the United States. This is very good. This is the best history I've seen, best piece I've seen on history in the United States. Or boxing right here. Well, salute, BB Otis. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Okay. Yeah. So all those other fighters fought too in the 70s. Best decade for heavyweights. And George Foreman first retired in 1977 at the age of 28 after losing to Jimmy Young. And then he came back and competed again 10 years later. And 20 years after losing his title to Ali, in 1974, he won it again in 1994 with Angelo Dundee in his corner. We talked about that yesterday, remember? Okay, boxing in the 1980s. Wait a minute, what is, okay, let's see here. Boxing in the 1980s. It's next. Okay. Wait a minute. There we go. Boxing in the 1980s. Here we go. Got a little mixed up there. Oh, yeah. He sued him for that. Because Stallone didn't give no royalties or nothing, man. And Chuck said, "You talking about me." Right? Oh, yeah. Had a good case, too. But good, appreciate you, BB Otis. Now, boxing in the 1980s. So after Muhammad Ali's retirement, the sport was devoid of exciting and bombastic figures to draw a crowd. We had Larry Holmes, but Larry didn't get his props because he came along right after Muhammad Ali, right? And he wasn't no Muhammad Ali, a great fighter and everything, but he didn't have the charisma or the out of the ring presence that Ali had. So yeah. That's why Holmes is so underrated. But yeah, after Ali's retirement, the sport was devoid of exciting and bombastic figures to draw a crowd. And the heavyweight division frequently rotated title holders. And then an undefeated knockout artist named Mike Tyson came along and defeated champion Trevor Berbick in the second round. Now, Berbick looked scared from the beginning of the stare down as the referee was going over the rules one last time before the starting bell even rang. And he ended up just trying to survive. 36 minutes of brutal power from Tyson. Tyson was 28-0 with 26 knockouts coming into that fight and landed a signature left hook that left Berbick unable to gain his equilibrium as he fell down twice while trying to stand. The fight was over. The boxing world would have a new king for the rest of the decade. And Mike Tyson soon became an international sensation until 1990. And this happened. Boxing in the 1990s. The 1990s began with one of the biggest upsets in sports history, when Tyson was knocked out by James Buster Douglas for the undisputed heavyweight titles, WBA, WBC, and IBF at that time. Now, the WBO was around, but again, it didn't become one of the big four until 2004. Came into existence in 1988, but the others really didn't bring them in until 2004, 16 years later. And Buster Douglas shocked the sports world when he knocked Mike Tyson out. And the shockwaves that jostled Tyson's brain permeated through his skull and reverberated through the rest of the boxing world. Then, 2 years later, Iron Mike found himself in a courtroom and sentenced to 6 years in prison for rape. Now, he served less than 3 years before being released with tattoos of Mao Zedong, Che Guevara, and tennis player Arthur Ashe, which added even more to the public's confusion. And Tyson went on to become a champion again. He won the WBC title in March 1996, but he lost it to Evander Holyfield in November. And the two fought again in June the following year, 97. But Tyson was disqualified for biting off a chunk of Holyfield's ear. And the only other time after that he received a title shot was in June 2002 against Lennox Lewis, who beat Tyson by knockout in the 8th round. Okay? So, intense rivalries also developed in the heavyweight division between Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, who were all champions at one point during the decade. Lewis unified the division a month before the world rang in the new millennium, Y2K. Yep. Everybody was all worried the world gonna blow up, Y2K. Remember that? I'm like, the new year gonna go from December 31st to January 1st, just like the other 1999 years we done had, 1,999 years we done had, right? And that's what it did. Went from 1999 to 2000. Right? Okay, but the current era, the 2000s to the present day, 2000s to now. Here's Floyd and Manny. Oh my goodness. Here with me, please. There we go. Floyd and Manny. Yeah, 2000s to now. Let's talk about that. And we got something on the Mafia and something on women's boxing. I'll get into today too. Got to get the women their props. They getting there and put it on the line too. Okay, 2000s to the present day. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, so with the new millennium underway, boxing was beginning to lose its appeal to the general public. In the 1990s, fights started becoming more exclusive, as they were only available mostly on pay-per-view or premium channels like HBO and Showtime. Now, mixed martial arts, MMA, was becoming more popular than boxing since it was aired on channels like Spike TV and Fuel, which were oriented towards retaining a predominantly male demographic. Okay? So the big MMA events were still available on pay-per-view, but the sport started passing boxing in terms of both participation and popularity because of the fast-paced and unpredictable nature of the action. After a decade of precariousness and demonization, the public finally started viewing it as a sport that was more primal and alluring, while boxing was viewed as long and kind of boring at times, which was largely due to a lack of star power. After Lennox Lewis retired in 2003, we had stars like Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley came along and were the stars of the era. Now, there were hopes among boxing fans that the long-awaited welterweight matchup in May 2015 between Mayweather Jr. and Filipino champion Manny Pacquiao could revitalize the sport. Although it sold the most pay-per-view buys in history, with 4.6 million in the United States, the fight itself was underwhelming after 5 years of hype and anticipation, and didn't do much to improve the interest of a new generation of fight fans. And now in 2026, we're getting a rematch. The original fight was 5 years too late. Now the rematch is 10 years too late, right? The original fight should have been like 2010, and the rematch should have been like 2016. We're getting it in 2026. That's crazy. Now, after Manny, over 2 years later, in November 2017, Floyd squared off with MMA superstar Conor McGregor in a matchup that resulted in 4.3 million buys just in the United States. Now, there have been attempts by major networks like CBS to introduce into the mainstream, but one of the people who has had an impact on getting a new demographic of people interested in the sport has been the controversial YouTuber, Jake Paul, right? Despite Paul being considered by many to be a loudmouth troll who is an abomination to boxing, it's safe to say he has brought more attention and crossover appeal to the sport than almost anyone else in the internet age. That is so true. Paul has been very selective in choosing his opponents, the majority of whom have been retired MMA fighters with wrestling and jiu-jitsu backgrounds. His victories over them have infuriated many fight fans to the point where they started focusing more on the sport of boxing again, just to see Jake lose, which he did by decision to English boxer Tommy Fury in 2023, and knockout to Anthony Joshua, got his jaw broke at 25. But Paul has also been vocal in pushing for an increased pay structure with all combat sport athletes, and all of his opponents have received massive payouts. And Jake has also been instrumental in making women's boxing as popular as it has become today, and getting the women paid. Jake has been instrumental in that. The boxing gloves and the resurgence of bare knuckle boxing. There's an old pair of boxing gloves. They used to call them mufflers back in the old days. Mufflers. It's a pretty good pattern in them, though. Okay, let's talk about that. Boxing gloves and the resurgence of bare knuckle boxing. The concept of boxing gloves was around for about 100 years in England before gaining popularity in the United States around the turn of the century. Early versions of boxing gloves were used in training, but were really nothing more than glorified branching gloves, weighing only 2 ounces, making them half the size of today's MMA gloves. Padding was later added that primarily consisted of either horsehair or cotton, later known as mufflers. Even though sanctioned competitions were still held with only bare knuckles until 1889. Many boxers scoffed at the idea of using gloves even during training sessions, and often ridiculed those who did. Okay? The practice of using horsehair and cotton ended up making the gloves too puffy and cumbersome, and was replaced in the 1950s with foam padding, allowing them to be much smaller and more compact. In 1920, New York State's Walker Law mandated the use of gloves, virtually eliminating bare knuckle boxing altogether. However, sanctioned bare knuckle fighting made a return in 2018 when the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship held its first competition and continues holding fights to this day. Yeah, the BKFC. Now, mafia involvement in boxing. Okay? You want to run into them late night. Mafia involvement in boxing. This is interesting here. Beginning in the late 1930s, notorious New York Mafia hitman Frankie Carbo, later known as the Czar of Boxing, began managing fighters, mostly lightweights, welterweights, and middleweights, for the sole purpose of exploiting their talent for his own personal gain, mainly financially. Throughout the 1940s, Carbo, with the help of fellow mobster Frank Blinky Palermo, who was able to legally obtain a license allowing him to manage fighters and promote fights, despite his lengthy criminal background. They used their mob connections to intimidate fighters and managers into taking generous percentages of fight purses and throwing fights for betting coups. The most infamous incident of the decade happened in 1947 when middleweight contender Jake the Raging Bull LaMotta lost by TKO against Billy Fox, whose stellar boxing record could only be attributed to his manager, Palermo. At this juncture in history, the Mafia heavily controlled the boxing world. So LaMotta felt that his only shot at the middleweight title was to capitulate and give in to their demands, play ball with them. And he also had to pay them $20,000, which is roughly $200,000 in today's money. Okay? He had to agree to throw the fight and pay him $20,000 in 47, which is about $200,000 today. So LaMotta then threw the fight against Fox, something he also admitted to doing under oath to Congress in the early 60s. However, due to suspicious betting activities reported by bookies and a horrible acting job by both fighters, the New York State Athletic Commission suspended LaMotta's boxing license and withheld both fighters' perks. Now, LaMotta eventually took advantage of an earned title shot 2 years later, defeating Marcel Cerdan by knockout in the 10th round. Fox, on the other hand, no longer being managed by Palermo and his mob buddies, ended up losing 8 of his next 14 fights, getting knocked out 5 times in the process. But Billy Fox really wasn't a good fighter at all. He was just getting his wins because he was a mob fighter and they were paying fighters to throw fights against him, right? For betting purposes. In 1949, the International Boxing Club, the IBC, was formed as a corporation that promoted fights that were held in major venues in New York, Chicago, and Detroit. Through the 1960 court hearing, it was revealed that the IBC was connected to Carbo and Palermo, connected to the mob, who were on trial for multiple crimes related to their involvement with pro boxing over the past few decades. It was also revealed that Carbo's wife worked for the IBC, never showed up for work, but was being paid a salary of $45,000 a year, which is like $450,000 nowadays. She just had a title, his wife. She at home drinking coffee, watching the soap operas, making $450,000 a year. Well, maybe not the soap operas in the 50s, but just sitting home with a title that she worked for this company, making $45,000 a year, which is $450,000 today. Never had to show up for work, but she was the wife of this monster. Now, throughout the 1950s, Carbo and Palermo clandestinely held major control over who fought who was deserving of title shots, who would win the fights, right? The organization was so corrupt that there were times when even the judges called the fight for the fighter who clearly lost the fight, as was the case when Tony DeMarco was ruled a winner against Carmen Basilio for the middleweight world title. Basilio was eventually granted a rematch, and this time he took matters into his own hands and knocked DeMarco out. And the mob influence was an open secret in the boxing world, but the financial toll that many cities would have experienced by shutting out the IBC prevented anyone from publicly speaking out against it. Now, the walls began closing in on Carbo and Palermo in the late 1950s when Californian promoter Jackie Leonard reneged on a deal that was made with Carbo. Leonard was brutally attacked with a lead pipe outside his home one night and left hospitalized. Now, that was the way they sent their message, because remember when Ray Arcel wouldn't play ball with him in the 50s, he also got attacked with a lead pipe outside a hotel and almost died. So that's how they sent their message. They would send somebody attack you with a lead pipe if you didn't play ball with him. But that's what got him exposed after they attacked this guy. Okay. The attack galvanized efforts by the California State Athletic Commission to seek the help of various state and federal law enforcement agencies. After a lengthy investigation, Carbo, Palermo, and others were arrested on charges of extortion and conspiracy. Carmen Basilio provided the court with important testimony that was instrumental in the conviction of both Carbo and Palermo. The two were sentenced to prison for 25 years and 15 years respectively. Yep. But 40s, 50s, they had a stranglehold on boxing. And they say they got them out in the 60s, but then we got the Bob Father, Mauricio, all them, Oscar, them people, Turkey. Bring back the mafia. Look at the 90s, the president of the IBC went to prison. He was charging promoters for ranking them. Promoters were paying for preferential rankings of their fighters. Bob Father admitted it on the stand that he paid. So he's still doing it now, but he just didn't. He got caught then. But if he did it then, he's still doing it now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they might have got rid of the mob, but it's like going from bad to worse. The best of the two evils, mob or Bob Father and all of them. You know, Mauricio. What's the worst of the two evils, you know? I take the mob over Mauricio and all of them characters. But let's talk about women's boxing again today. Women's boxing again. And there's oh, that's okay. I thought I had man. I can't think of the name. Make the mafia great again. Yeah. If we could get rid of if I had a vote, the mafia or Mauricio, I'd vote for the mafia. You know, who would you rather have running the sanctioning body, the mafia or Mauricio? The mafia. Christy Martin, that's who I was thinking about. Yeah, Christy Martin. Women's boxing in the USA. This is going to finish us off for the week. The women's participation in boxing was an uphill battle throughout 95% of the 20th century. The first recorded women's fight took place in 1888 between Hattie Leslie and Alice Leary. That's in the United States, because in England, remember yesterday, they was fighting in the 17th century. But the United States was 1888 between Hattie Leslie and Alice Leary. Now, in the 1904 Olympic Games in St. Louis, women's boxing was included as a display event that failed to gain much traction and popularity because the men and women came in for the first time in 1904, but they kept the men and the women didn't come back until 2012. So there was always a niche interest in boxing and wrestling, mostly as forms of self-defense, with women in major cities like New York and Chicago, which inevitably led to those wanting to engage in competitive fights. Within half a century, many women across the country were striving to compete and were able to do so in select states around the country. In 1977, Kathy Davis, we talked about her yesterday, remember Kathy Cat Davis? In 1977, Kathy Davis successfully sued the New York State Athletic Commission after being denied a boxing license because she was a female. Davis was also the first woman to be featured on the cover of Ring magazine in August 1978 and remained the only woman until MMA fighter Ronda Rousey in 2016. Now, the other woman was on Sports Illustrated. I just said her name, Christy Martin was on Sports Illustrated, but Kathy Davis was on Ring magazine in the 70s. And the next woman on Ring magazine was Ronda Rousey in 2016. Now, Davis gained popularity due to her exciting fighting style. Unfortunately, some of her fights were allegedly fixed. In 1983, Paulina Valdez and Holly McDaniel were the first female boxers to be featured in the main event on a fight card, 1983. Valdez won handily by decision in a 15-round banger. 10 years later, 15-year-old Dallas Malloy successfully sued USA Boxing after being denied their ability to fight at the amateur level. She successfully sued them the following year, claiming that their actions were in violation of Washington state's discrimination laws. The judge issued a preliminary injunction allowing her to compete, leading to the first sanctioned amateur female fight in the United States. Malloy was 16 years old at the time of the competition. She defeated Heather Pointer by decision. The women's boxing experienced an increase in popularity in the second half of the 1990s and a sharp rise entering the new millennium when Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, made her pro debut with an exciting knockout of April Fowler in just 31 seconds. Wow. Did her Mike Tyson 31 seconds in her debut. And she had a 87% knockout ratio, 21 knockouts and 24 wins. Other knockout artists like Ann Wolfe and Christy Martin also helped shape a positive image of women's boxing. All three women have been inducted into the International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame. And all three also in the International Boxing Hall of Fame too, the big one. Women's boxing became an Olympic sport in 2012. Okay, yeah, that's it. So history of boxing in the United States. Yeah, women started in the Olympics in 2012. Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, Thomas Hill? How are you today? I didn't know Thomas Hill was even in here. Yeah, we did the Beach T Hill and Short History of Boxing in the United States. That piece was the best history of boxing I've seen for the United States. Yeah, that was pretty good. We did it like 3 years ago. He'll probably remember it too. That was one of my first shows. First 2 or 3 shows was that. It was a little bit, we profiled some American boxers too during that show. Yeah, that was the whole show. Like 2024-ish, around in there. Yep, that was the first one. And today is the 626th show. 626 shows. In 626 in. Wow. That's a lot. Appreciate y'all. And most of the people in here is most of the people that was within like the first 10 shows. Everybody in here right now. I'm serious. Been with me since damn near day one. Thomas Hill, Levy Otis, Al Booger, Mike Rim, and Mike Massey. Yep, and the same crew all the way through. This is 626. Everybody in here been in at least 600 of them. Right. That's a fact. I appreciate y'all too. 1,000,000%. You might can chat for a few minutes. There's the link. We got like 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, that's the week. Next week, we're going to talk about some boxing in the 90s. I got some fights from the 90s and some fights, welterweight division over the last 30 years from like Oscar, Floyd, around in that range on forward. A little after the Hitman and all of them came through, you know? Yeah. What's up, T-Hill?
Man, what's good with you, Cass? What's good with you?
Same old
How's
stuff.
everything?
After this boxing, you know?
Yeah, great show. I've been listening. I've been bouncing around, but I've been listening.
I wanted to ask you, who you got them all between Keith and Sebastian?
So this is the thing, man. You know, I'm not blind, and I do know he has been inactive. I know he is much older.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, Sebastian has a height and reach advantage.
Significant, yeah.
I think that experience favors.
Keith.
Yeah, it favors Keith. I think that his boxing ability is also better than Fundora.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm not so certain of is his timing, his gauge of the opponent's timing, and his ability to go 12 rounds doing what's necessary to win. See, for me, Keith gonna have to operate not from outside, but not up close. He's gonna have to mix the medium game with up close. And when he has to do that, is he's gonna have to turn him. He's gonna have to continuously turn him, continuously move him. And when he moves him, get up close, deliver the punishment, work that body, get back out, medium range. Give him something to think about. Continuously paw at that jab, hit them shoulders, hit them hips, hit that body. And he's gonna have to do this for a good 8 to 9 rounds before he can actually start operating in between the punches. And he's gonna have to throw in between the punches. Not sure he can do that. And because of that, I favor Fundora.
Yeah, me too.
I think that
he's got to have a good start to you. Mandatory.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to, and he has to continuously dictate the generalship. Like the way the fight is taking place in the ring, he has to dictate that.
That's right. Yeah.
Then on top of that, he's gonna have to work low to high, low to high, low to high. Not even worry about the top as much. And he's got to make sure that he does not give that face up for uppercuts. So that only way you work inside is when you're turning him, because he's not going to be able to shoot the punch as you're turning him. So if he can do this, and if whoever's coaching him is put this in the plan to beat him, he got a shot, because he does have power. He does have a very good boxing acumen, and he's got experience. Can he do it? He ain't been in the ring for a minute. He's only had X amount of fights in so many years, and
4 or 5 years, man.
5 years, man. You know, and that right there, while that can have a positive because it doesn't put wear and tear on his body, you can get. This is the type of sport that you can get old in one night.
Yeah.
And if he gets old in a night, then it's going to be bad for him.
That's a good point. That this might be that fight, you know. Yeah.
So I hope he win. Put my money on what's her name, either by decision or late stoppage.
Yeah.
Now for Keith, in order for him to win by decision, he's gonna have to dominate at least 8 of those. At least 9 or 10 of those rounds, because the money is behind Fundora. They can make bigger fights with Fundora.
And like you were saying, he got to get out there early and start dictating the fight early, immediately, right away. You can't wait, you know, going there feeling out too long and none of that stuff. But you got to get off to a good start too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can't be in there playing no catch up 2-3 rounds behind.
So that's my biggest concern, because, you know, he ain't spry. He's 37 years old. He ain't active. Right. So, you know.
Old and inactive. That's a bad combination right there, you know.
A bad combination.
Wow.
And you talking about a dude that's young, who's getting better. I mean, let's not make no mistake about this dude. He couldn't see.
Yeah.
He corrected that. He got the LASIKs. Now he can see. He's been watching it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you can see the difference in it, you know.
Yeah, he can see how punches look coming at him. He can see where they're coming from. They're no longer blurs, and they're not coming in an instant. He can see them coming now. And on top of that, he's been watching his sister dominate fights with that jab.
Yeah.
You see how effective using the jab and using your advantage is. So, you know, it's gonna be tough for that boy Thurman. But, you know, this is this could be his last hurrah. This could be, them saying, look, man, we paying you back for all the things that you've done for us, and for all the time you were inactive. We're giving you a shot. You make the most of it. But it also could be his indoctrination to like journeyman status or gatekeep status, and
Yeah.
you don't want that to be for what he's done in the sport. You don't want that to be.
You don't want to go out like that. Not
So
Keith.
hopefully, not Keefy D.
He got a future in commentating though too, T Hill. A bright future in commentating.
Absolutely.
Get ready.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing. I mean, that's the one thing that's a benefit to him because he can speak so well of himself.
Right. That's right.
So he's always got an avenue. He's got access because of, being a fighter now. On top of that, you're an articulate person. You can definitely, and you speak your mind.
Yeah.
So that's always somewhere he can always be welcome. Hell, they can go and take him to the broadcasting tables for the PBT.
He's already been doing it,
Yeah, so that's true. That's a great point. But that being said, it's not being inside that ring, and being inside that ring, you got to be A1. I'm talking about you got to be on point. And in order for him to overcome the inactivity, the age difference, the size difference, then he's really got to be on top of it. And I'm hoping that he is, because I'm expecting it to be a better fight than many people think. A lot of people think he about to get pummeled. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I think it's going to be competitive.
I was kind of like in a pummeled camp, but I hope
but rightfully so. Rightfully so. Everything points to it.
Yeah.
But if he truly is that dude, then he'll show up and he'll put on a great fight. And I think this card is going to be a great card. I know it's a lot of people who are not happy with it, but I think the action will exceed the names. I think the action will exceed the names. I think people will be happy with this card.
I agree. I think it's going to be good. What network is that on? Is that the Zone?
Yeah, I believe so. But I thought it was
Is it Bob Father? I don't know who from Dora.
No, I thought it was PBC.
PBC, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was PBC.
Where are they at now? Amazon or something like that?
Yeah, they're in Netflix, from what I remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna find it wherever it's at. I'm not gonna miss it.
The fight?
Right. Yeah.
The fight, if it's pay-per-view, are you ordering it?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Then they definitely have it for sure.
But you know what
I don't know.
Is? So go ahead, finish it here.
No, you know what next weekend is? What's next weekend?
May 2nd. Monster and Nakatani.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
Yeah.
That's the one. I'm waiting for that. I might have to even be up on that one.
Right week, man. That's gonna be early in the morning, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What time will it be? Like 3, 4 o'clock here. What time will it be?
For you, it'll be about like 5, 6 o'clock. But it come on for me, it'll be like 3 something.
Oh man, that's right in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm getting up for this one though. The last one I got up for was Cool Boy. That was disappointing. I should have just stayed in the bed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Cool Boy that time, and I don't think if he got fully acclimated or not, but whatever it was reaffirmed in the dang Oshaki Foster fight. I mean, he just didn't look like he was engaged enough to go in there and fight.
Not at all.
It's one thing to go through the motions, man, but another thing to not even compete. And that didn't look like he was even trying to compete, man. And that was sad.
Yeah. 2 big fights. Yup. 2 huge ones. They say our boy Tank coming back.
Oh, yeah. Well, you already know how everything that we talked about that first time is coming to fruition. I said that this was a setup. I said this was an attack on the PBC. Sure, I said all that stuff. And look at it. It's coming to play. It never looked right. Nothing never added up. And it was just amazing how people were out there counting off his career and putting him in this and saying all this, and there had not been no shred of evidence.
Mm-hmm. Had the man on the run from the marshals. All that kind of
all of the stuff it was like a movie. This stuff looked like a straight up movie.
Mm-hmm.
And now chickens are coming home to roost, and people gonna just let it be like never was. All that foul stuff they said about him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of people, man. A lot of people called me all kinds of names, thought I was being stupid. And like I said, I always said, if it were your family member and it played out the same way, y'all would say, y'all bugging. You ain't got nothing on him. But because it's Tank, because he's the biggest money maker and star for PBC, and because that's Al Heyman, oh no, we out there trying to destroy him. Now you look and see everything come out. They ain't even had no damn signatures on there. They've been lying from the gate. The video, people who said they saw the video ain't seen sheep dip. You know what I'm saying, man? That's crazy.
Yeah, ain't seen nothing.
And like we said early in the beginning, man, none of this stuff makes sense, and we just need to wait.
Yeah, that's all. And we said he's gonna be back in the ring, and look at it.
And we said that, yeah. So I mean, that's all I mean, other than the fact that clearly Tank is the pulse of boxing, clearly he is the thing that makes boxing beat. It's been fully confirmed now. So the comeback about to be epic. And from what I've been told, the names that they wanted him to fight are the names he is going to fight, and he's coming to knock them out. So that's all I care about.
I can't wait.
Oh shoot, we got the ubiquitous and loquacious one up in the dang house. We got Ann McQueen.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, okay.
I just seen a number go down there. I just seen a number go down there. But yeah, none of that stuff, like he said, really made sense at all. And unfortunately, it just shows how we treat these fighters, like especially our fighters.
Yeah.
Like,
what is that? Yeah, some people just spend so much time looking for negative stuff.
Looking for it don't make no sense. And they don't do this with people who don't look like us. Yeah, no doubt. They don't do this.
There. Tank running from the marshal to had the man on the way to prison and everything, man. It's crazy.
Then said while he was in Cuba, he was going to get extradited. Now, if you know about Cuba, there's no extradition laws there. You can't extradite nobody. Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man.
He's in Cuba. Wow.
They said the man was a woman beater. He has never had a case of beating woman. He's never been caught beating woman. Like none of that. Like it was just ridiculous, man. But like I'm saying, hopefully this will help him refocus, rededicate himself so that we can get the real Tank in the ring. That he'll go to the events to promote his brand and his ability to command the crowd and to deliver performances, and that we can make these fights, because that's all I want. I want the fights to be made, because after the fight is made, you're gonna have to change everything that you've said about
it. Fans want is the fights, you know.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm looking forward most to. And it's unfortunate that it has to be the Pit Bull fight first. I definitely, if he was the rematch, I would like.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I would rather it be the people that they say he's scared to fight or he can't beat.
Yeah,
that's who I would really like to see. But I ain't mad at it. And now that Ann up here, Ann always got the proper mindset on how we're supposed to view these fighters and these fights that are being made.
Yeah. What's up, Ann?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Yeah, how's my guy right there, dog?
Yeah. I know Ed's always listening. I haven't seen him on the panel in a minute.
There's two things that came.
Okay, the floor is yours. Can't hear you, Ant.
Yeah, we can't hear you. You said there was two things.
Yeah, that's the last thing I heard. Maybe a call or something came in.
Yeah, he probably got a call. You know, and be out and about, be handling business and whatnot. So, you
Yeah,
know.
wait.
But
Yeah. I didn't hear
uh,
that Cuba thing though, T Hill. They had him in Cuba. Wow.
yeah, they said he was in exile, hiding out in Cuba, ducking, like the man was on probation. There's only
Yeah.
certain things he can do. There's only certain places he
He
can
was on
go.
probation. Right.
You not like, oh, here you go. There you go, Ant.
Yeah. Okay, Ant. We couldn't hear you before. Hmm.
So I'm out on the road.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
There's two things that came to mind when T Hill was talking about the criticism that certain fighters get and other ones
Yeah.
don't get.
Mhm.
And I thought about proximity, right? Like, you know, they talk about black on black and so on and so forth. And generally
Absolutely.
that's due to proximity. You know,
Mhm.
if you are gonna lash out, regardless of whether it's positive or negative or everything in between, nine
Right.
times out of 10 it's gonna be directed towards those who are close to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Proximity.
Yeah.
So when you think about some of these other fighters who have had all types of dealings, and by these other fighters, I mean, you know, guys from Europe and other
Right.
continents, how closely do people follow them to really have an opinion on it?
That's just a good point.
Like, I can't remember the last time I heard somebody speak about Albert Batagaziev.
Mm-mm.
At least
Me neither.
nobody that I'm in communication with on these YouTube streets. Ain't no black people talking about
Mm-mm.
Alexei Papin from Russia. Ain't nobody talking about him.
Good point. Like you were saying, proximity.
Proximity.
Yeah.
So naturally, you know, if we talking about black fighters or things adjacent to black culture,
Mm-hmm.
that's who's gonna get the praise, and that's also who's gonna unfortunately get the criticism. Now the
Right.
second thing is this. Unfortunately, and some of it may be warranted, some of it may be unjust, but Tank has cultivated a reputation at this point. So in people's minds, whenever they hear a report,
Mm-hmm.
before it's been determined whether or not it's true, people are going to jump to conclusions because he's got that reputation.
That's right.
There's the one
Yeah.
video of him at the basketball game with the young lady. I'm pretty sure many people have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, well, if he does that in public, imagine what he's doing behind closed doors. That's how people think.
Yeah. And it was manhandling her a little. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he got the rep for
He's
doing
got
that.
the rep. So
Yeah.
again, more often than not, nobody's looking to give anybody the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-mm.
You just assume, all right, you hear something about this guy, it's got to be true.
Yeah. Because we've seen him do it before. So he had to do it.
Now, I don't think it was a good look doing that in person. I mean, not in person, but in public. You know, the optics, it doesn't look good.
No.
But I also feel like that's been a tad bit blown out of proportion. It's not like he grabbed the woman up by her throat. It's not like he dragged her out of there by her hair. He didn't punch her in the face. He didn't slap her.
Mm-mm.
He said he manhandled her a little bit, grabbed her by the arm and pulled her out of the venue.
Yeah, like, come on, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah.
But of course, when you hear these stories, now all of a sudden, this guy is the worst thing since whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just unfortunate. As far as him returning to the ring, hey, I say better sooner than later.
Yeah.
Better
That's
sooner
right.
than later. I think for him to maximize on his prime, because I believe that he's probably still in his prime.
Yeah, I think so. What's it, 31?
31?
31, yeah.
Yeah, I think he got 4 more years by definition. I don't know how that translates into the ring, but yeah, he definitely ain't got much time. So yeah, he got to maximize the time that he does have left. Hopefully, he go back to having 3 fights a year too.
something like that.
Been in a lot of tough, grueling fights, neither though, you know.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I've always interpreted Prime or
Mm-hmm.
accepted this version of what the Prime is
Yeah.
when the physical meets the mental, and they're kind of like lockstep. Because you know how it is sometimes with
Mm-hmm.
fighters when they're young, they may not have the experience that they need, or as the
Right.
old timers would say, the youth is wasted on the young. They got all that vigor, they got all that athleticism, they got every athletic attribute you could need, speed, power, this, that, and the third, but they don't have the foresight to be able to
Mm-hmm.
set things up. They don't know how to regulate the pace of a fight.
Right.
They don't know how to set traps. They just fast, strong, just young and dumb. And then you see those crafty guys, the wily veterans, where they're over the hill athletically, but they still know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
So you got those
mm-hmm.
guys. So I think with a guy like Tank, it's important that he takes whatever fights he can get now in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think that he's got the other attributes to necessarily age gracefully.
Right. Right.
A lot of what makes him dangerous is that explosiveness, that twitchiness, because he's a small guy. He's not a dude who's 5'8", 5'9", and he's got a 72, 73-inch reach.
Yeah.
He's 5'5", if that, with like a 68-inch reach. So a lot of him being able to set traps and change levels and come over the top and all, a lot of that has to do with explosiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that fades, I don't doubt his boxing intelligence, but then, you still got to be able to close the gap against guys who have the height, guys who have the reach, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe he's one of those guys where he ages like a DC legend, man. What's my man's name? They used to play cornerback down there in Washington.
Darrell Green.
Darrell Green.
Yeah.
Darrell Green was 50 years old, still running a 4.3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's one of those guys who can be an anomaly.
Yeah.
But I think that as Coach Tommy would say, fry the egg while the skillet is hot.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
You still got that explosiveness, still got that twitchiness to go along with the smarts, to go along with the intelligence. Use it now. You know what I mean? Because I think if he waits another year, another 2 years, may be difficult. And timing is a huge part of his game, right? Like we've seen this guy.
Yeah, that's right. Timing.
We've seen this guy in the Ryan Garcia fight throw 6 total punches in the second round, but he wins the round because he scores a knockdown.
Knock him down.
You know what I mean? So if you're gonna be that economical, timing is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nicholas
you don't want to be out the ring too long.
Went outside.
No.
Be out the ring too long, and then you start, man, I don't know what happened. I just couldn't get my timing right. I couldn't get the timing.
It's been almost about a year because he fought Roach. That was in March last year, right? Almost around this time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, right around this time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was March.
Mm-hmm. So it's been a year.
So who would you guys like to see him fight?
Oh, man. T.O. wanted him to jump right back in there with Secure and all them guys. With his first fight back, I don't mind the Pitbull fight.
No, I don't mind the Pitbull fight either. I just said if it were my choosing,
yeah,
for my viewing pleasures, I would like to see him fight Roach.
Yeah.
But I heard that what I've heard, somebody that's inside the camp saying that it's going to be Pitbull, Roach, Shakur, and hopefully Devin. So I'm hoping. I just want the fights to be made, and I believe, like Ann said, I think that the time for him to, given his mindset, his temperament, and everything, he ain't gonna be here for too long. So hopefully he goes back to fighting 3 fights in a year, because 3 fights in a year means that these fights can take place within 3 to 4 years, and preferably 3. So you get the pit bull out, you can get another one in 3 months later. You can close the year with a big fight. And then you can go into the next year, get 3 fights out. You good to go into that last year. That last year you can do whatever is necessary to, put a stamp on your career. That's ultimately how I would like to see it
unfold. Okay.
There are so many people he can fight too. It's not just limited unto them. There are still people amongst him that are at 35 that will be moving up to 40 and things like that.
Yeah, some of the ones.
Multiple people at 40. I believe that 47. I don't know if he can make all the way up to there, but possibly maybe a catch weight at 43, 3.5, something like that. Something where they can meet halfway. But ultimately, like Ann said, getting back to the ring, the sooner the better.
It's the main
is all that matters, because with all this intrigue and all this thirst to have him make news, whether he's in the ring or in negotiations or not, there's going to be intrigue. There's going to be like anticipation. There's going to be a lot of people waiting to see what he's going to look like in that ring. So it's going to be a big deal.
1000%. I would say that the recent news is indicative of everything that you just said, right? You had, what's my man's name? Kid Austin was in line for the WBA, and they had Tank designated champion in recess.
Right.
And in the moment that there's whispers of him returning to the ring, they reinstated him with the quickness. So these people, man, they want to see him in the ring. The people in the suits.
Yes.
So I couldn't agree more, T. Hill, about that point. There's a lot of money that's there to be made. Hell, anybody in the top 10.
Okay.
Anybody in the top 10. Tank is a very, very it's very tricky with him. Extremely tricky with him. Most recently, Devin Haney stated that Tank was a underachiever. Right? Yeah. And I can understand where he's coming from an accolade standpoint. Right? But
yeah, I can understand that.
I can understand that. But what comes to mind for me is the importance of timing. The importance of timing. Because they have several shared opponents at this point. Got Yuriorkis Gamboa, Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero. Now Rolly Romero is the WBA champion at 147. So these guys have been talking about fighting one another this summer, May, I believe.
Yeah.
I say that to say this. When Tank fought him, it wasn't a good fight. He's fighting another nobody. He should have been fighting this person or that person. Now when Devin Haney fights him, he's going to be able to enjoy the fact that Rolly Romero is a champion. So now that same win that was worthless for Tank, for Devin Haney, it's an opportunity to be unified in another weight class.
Yep.
So that's where it's like the resume thing gets a little tricky sometimes, because it depends on when you fight a guy. I mean, hell, this weekend, right? Brian Mendoza he gave Sebastian Fundora his only loss. Sebastian Fundora goes on to fight Tim Tszyu in the very next fight and then becomes a champion.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate like that sometimes. Sometimes you could be a little too early or a little too late.
Timing.
Timing is everything. So what was once a quote unquote bad fight then becomes somebody else's crowning achievement. Same thing with Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney, if he goes on to rematch Ryan Garcia is now the WBC champion.
He's a
So
champion.
again, that's an opportunity for Devin Haney to be unified.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not gonna say, "Oh well, look, I became unified fighting against a guy that we said wasn't that good when he fought Tank Davis." They're just gonna
Oh,
say,
no.
"Now we unified."
Unified. Fought another champion. That's all they're
For
going to
another
say.
champion, exactly.
Yep.
So it's like it's weird with Tank. It's weird with him because he could go out and fight somebody who I believe to be credible, a good opponent, and then they'll just say, "Well, he didn't fight another champion. He still never
Yeah.
been unified. He still wasn't this. He still wasn't that." Then that same guy, he goes on, he wins a championship, he fights somebody else, and now he's all of a sudden a great name to add
Yeah, that's a
to the
big fight.
resume.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
anything outside of another champion, maybe a Raymond Morataya, or
Yeah, that would be good.
I don't think people will be satisfied because for with Tank, I don't think the name necessarily moves the needle for them. For him, it's going to come down to what has he accomplished.
Yeah.
What up, Ant? I
What's up,
missed
Ja,
you. Where you been
John
at?
up here. What's up, John?
What up? What up? What's y'all? Salute everybody.
I've been in the
I
comment section, in the chat.
right. Oh, all right. And we need the corner to come back.
Oh
I want to
man,
hear what
That's some of
I
my
had to
favorite
restart it.
time.
I had to restart it, John, because they hit me with it with all of these copyright strikes and all these other
Oh, they
things.
got
So
pissed off at you.
yeah,
I want to hear what
Okay.
Ed and John, what y'all got on tomorrow. Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora fight tomorrow.
I'm split, man.
What's on that one?
I wanted to say something about what Ant was
Oh, go
just
ahead.
talking about first though.
Oh,
Like
finish that off. Go ahead.
I feel like when it's all said and done, all we gonna have to look at is like not all, but like we gonna watch the fights. Like so if they got common opponents, we just gonna watch how they look when they fight each other, like later down the line. And then it's like I also thought maybe that'd be a good topic too, like fighters that have been bigger than the belts in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Tank bigger than the belts to me. Like Deontay bigger than the belt. There's a lot of fighters to me that's
Yeah.
bigger than the
Yep.
belt. It
I know
don't
what
matter
you're
if they
saying.
got a belt or not. They'll sell out. But I got Keith though,
You got Keith. Decision?
knocked out.
What? That's wow. Most people I heard that pick Keith had the decision. Okay. Got the knockout.
Either an overhand or a hook.
I
When?
can't see Keith winning the decision unless he drops Sebastian Fundora multiple times.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only way I can see him winning the decision. Because Sebastian Fundora just output alone.
Like you mean like he okay.
No, I'm saying because Ja, like I think
Yeah.
that Keith has the skills to win a decision. I think he certainly does. But I think that Sebastian Fundora will make up for it just by sheer value. Like he's very difficult to just win rounds against.
Yeah.
Because he just
Yeah.
punches so much. And Keith, he's alluded to this in the interview as well, where he talked about the disparity between both of them with their output.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to like pick his shots. I think I'll say this though. I'll say this: if Keith boxes so clean to the point where, like, let's say it's like Mayweather Pacquiao,
Yeah.
where he's able to land the cleaner shots and make Sebastian Fundora do something unusual, which is think twice about letting his hands go.
Yeah.
To where now he becomes a little bit more economical, and then they throw roughly around the same amount of punches. Let's say they're within like 450 to 500 punches thrown, something like that, within that realm.
Yeah.
But Keith is more efficient, then he could possibly win a decision like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a big if for me because Sebastian Fundora is one of those dudes where he really has that it's you or him type of mentality. Like we've seen this dude get dropped in fights, get busted up in fights, and he's still letting his hands go. He's not one of them dudes where it's like you clip him with a shot and all of a sudden he's going to become gunshot. He's
Right.
still throwing.
Mm-hmm.
He's still
Yeah,
throwing.
And on top of that, his height advantage and stuff like that. Like as much as he punch and how hard he is to hit because how tall he is. Yeah, I don't see no decision like that for Keith. Cause I looked at Jose Cito Lopez. I think that's who he fought. Somebody that got that type of output
Mm-hmm.
consistently, but he not that tall as Fondora though. So
Right.
you could
That's
go
true.
back and forth with him and win a decision. But like
Yeah. Josecito, man, he did some good work in that fight too, man. In round 7 in particular, he had a moment where he had Keith Thurman reeling. And one thing I really love about Keith is his intelligence. I
Mm-hmm.
love his intelligence, and I love that he's not too proud. I love that about him. And what I mean by that is, just the reference you just made to the Josecito Lopez fight, job when he got hurt to the body in that fight, Keith spit the gum shield out and he moved around the ring and bought time.
yeah.
Like he ain't try to slug it out. He wasn't like Keith gonna do whatever he's got to do, cause that's the one knock on him is like, oh, he's soft to the body. Cause we've seen him
Mm-hmm.
hurt to the body multiple times now.
Yeah.
Josecito Lopez, Luis Colazo, Mario Barrios hurt him to the
Barrios.
body. A
Yeah.
couple of people hurt him to the body, but every single time Keith was never too proud to get on that bike. Like Keith is gonna survive the round, and then he gonna get back to fighting.
I
Like
Mm-hmm.
that
think
dude just
that's
knows
a
how to handle himself.
I think that's like a key to victory for Fondor, but also it's a key to victory for Keith for Fondor to try to even come down and touch his body like that. So that's tricky for me, like him, because that's what a lot of people speaking on, like he gonna get to his body early, but he's so tall, like that's exactly what you would want him to do is try to come down and get to your body. And then keep slick in exchanges, like punching at the same time you punching and catching you with the better shot or
Mm-hmm.
beating you to the punch. He real good at that.
That's interesting, y'all. You say he wanted him to come down, trying to get him in the body. That's an interesting point right there.
That or to throw a lazy jab. That's how Brian Mendoza was able to clip him. That's why I personally believe that Keith, especially with this being an open stance matchup, he should be
Mm-hmm.
looking to turn him and come over the top of his lead hand with the left hook.
Yeah, that's what T. Hill was saying. Mhm.
Yeah.
Brian Mendoza
Not
frozen with that.
and that uppercut, he not gonna be able to knock. That's his signature punch. He ain't, and that's how he got dropped too, throwing that punch. Like his best punch is what got him stopped in that fight. And
Yeah, but
Keith,
I
I feel
but I
like
think
he
that's the
better.
danger of going to his body though, for Keith, because he could mess around and get ran into the uppercut trying to go to his body.
I just feel like Keith slicker than Mendoza though. Like based on the type of caliber fighters I see him fight and still be able to like get his shots off and get out of there and stuff. I feel like he should be able to land that counter. He had more of a chance to land that than Mendoza had.
I got him about the same. I would say the difference though is I think that Keith appreciates as the fight goes on, whereas Mendoza, the fights that I've seen from him, he could fade a little bit, but he starts off real hot. The first 4 or 5 rounds, bro, his footwork is immaculate. I'm not sure if you've seen the fight that he had with Jesus Ramos, but he was boxing so well, and then he just started to fade. Same thing with the Tim Tszyu fight. He started off hot, then he started to fade. And then you can manhandle him a little bit. Like he's not the most physical, but Mendoza, he got good feet and he got really good like one punch power. I wouldn't necessarily say he's like Julian Jackson or somebody like that, but it's pretty damn decent at 154. Like it's sneaky, it's quick, and he can operate those angles too. So he got good legs. So if I'm Keith, that was one of the fights that I would definitely be looking at, not just because he got knocked out, but just to see how he was able to basically stay on the outside of the lead hand and just keep turning him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to punch in between the timed punches and punch off of the turn, off the movement. That's what he's going to have to do. If he can't do that and he stays stationary, it's going to be tough.
And head movement is going to be key, man. When he's closing the distance, Keith. When he's closing the distance, got to use some head movement. And then also, I personally, I think that he should smother and pivot around him, because Keith does have a tendency to pull straight out. And you do not want to be doing that against Fedora, because now you got a bunch of weapons at his disposal he could catch you with. That uppercut is vicious. That's for one. Then also, if you pulling out, this dude got an 80-inch reach.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He gonna catch you on the disengagement. So I think it's gonna be important for Keith to
Yeah, that could be in.
turn him.
I feel like Fondora gonna fight like he usually fight
One thing
eventually,
about
but
him, I don't think it's so much a matter of him not being able to use his jab. Like, I've been watching him for some time. He uses his
Figure
jab. He
out,
got
man.
slow feet. Am I
Huh?
back?
You never
Yeah, you
left. I
back.
hear you.
Okay, yeah. I was saying
Oh yeah, it was
Fedora.
me then.
I was saying
You,
Fedora.
you good. You good.
He uses his jab. Like, people say, oh, you don't really fight
Mm-hmm.
long or whatever. I think he does. I just think he has slow feet. So it's like, if you could
Mm-hmm.
time his jab, you could close the gap on him, and you could catch him pulling straight out. You look at like Tim Tszyu, what Tim Tszyu was doing, he was coming right up the middle on him. Straight right hands. Like, he's available for that shot, especially if you're gonna change levels, get low to spring on him. He gonna pull out, his chin is right up in the air. So I think with Fondora, the key to him getting better at using his length is like he's got his length and his feet. They got to be working in tandem. They got to be working in tandem. And I think he should turn.
yeah,
And I
that's
don't.
my biggest concern for Keith though. Is like with Fondor, I think he coming to this fight. Like I think he eventually gonna be banging it out like he always do. But like in the beginning, that's like the fill out rounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah, I don't. He gonna have to hurt Fondor because I feel like he not gonna win none of them fill out rounds. Because I feel like they got a
Mm.
game plan. You know, at least that's gonna last them fill out rounds. Like a different than using his range and stuff more than he usually do. But that's a mystery. I don't know how they gonna come. I'm getting more excited for this fight though.
Yeah.
If it stays
But
long
at
range
least
though,
we
Josh,
can.
like, how does Keith close the gap? How does he do it?
If he able
Yeah.
to really use that range, it's no chance to me of Keith winning. Cause he really got that output and he consistent the whole fight. Like he used his actual, but that's not how he known. For me, he like to get grimy in there. So like, and then he get hit every fight with a big shot.
That he does.
And Keith the type to hit you with a couple of them, like, and then he Keith got some real good footwork.
He does.
Yeah.
Like he's
He does.
floating in there.
Yeah.
Keith definitely be gliding. One thing
Yeah.
that I love about Keith is his punch selection. Like, off the footwork. Like, I like when he does like that little he'll turn and then he'll throw the hook and then put the uppercut behind it. Like, Keith don't just be throwing the conventional like 1-2 and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he'll mix it up. Like, he'll throw a damn two and
Yeah.
then throw an uppercut after it. I'm like, he be doing
I
some
feel like
crazy
him and
stuff.
Tank got that. They both got that similar type of footwork, and they could punch off that footwork. Like they could float and boom, really catch you with something flush and nice. Yeah, that's why I look. I want Keith to. That's what I see when I'm saying like I'm rooting for Keith. I see him doing all of that stuff, like just floating around. I see him being able to turn him, get up under him, and I feel like this is going to be the best defensive fighter that Fondor ever faced.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. See, but the thing with Keith though is like his defense is primarily in his legs. And that's what I'm saying. Like the head movement, I think Keith's head movement is going to have to be stellar. It's going to have to be as good as we've ever seen it.
For sure.
It's going to have to be phenomenal. Because Keith has some damn good legs, but I'm genuinely concerned. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I could see him catching Fandora with a really good shot, like off an angle. I think the left hook should be the priority. Forget about that right hand. Not that looping right hand. I think if he is going to throw the right hand, he got to find a way to straighten it up a little bit. And then just fire it like a missile. Because I seen Keith been working on that overhand right. That gloves off segment that they had, PBC, where they highlighted the training camp. Keith has been working on that overhand right. Saw something on Twitter yesterday from Brian Mendoza where he said that he's actually been hearing, good reports about the sparring because they used the same sparring partner in Michael Fox to prepare for Fundora because Michael Fox is of a similar stature.
And he was saying Michael Fox is a better boxer than,
Yeah.
which I agree.
No,
He
Mike
actually
Fox can
used
box.
he actually used his height. But he tall. All of them tall anyway, so he been tall.
And his brother too, Atlantis, he pretty crafty too.
Yeah.
If them dudes had some like real pop, they'd be monsters. Mike and his brother, if they had like some real pop on them punches, it wouldn't even be fair because they do box pretty damn well. I remember his I think it was his brother that fought Morrell, and he gave him a really, really tough out in the first couple of rounds. He ended up getting stopped. I felt it was a little premature because you know how it is. Like you land a good shot, then the guy who's the A side guy, the referee, he gonna jump in and he's gonna wave it off. So I felt like he got one of those. I felt like he got an A side stoppage, if I had to call it anything. But he was boxing pretty well. He was turning them, check hooking them. I was like, oh man, if he had some steam on them shots though, he would have really gave Morrell some real pause, some real apprehension. But it wasn't
Yeah,
nothing
I
that
feel like
Morrell couldn't deal with.
they got them body types where it's weird, but they actually be small for their weight class, like, cause a lot of people coming down in weight, but cause they so tall, it look like they post, like, I just feel like they're like natural 154, but they just tall, real tall though.
Yeah, they got the slight build. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like broad shoulders or nothing like that. They just wiry, just tall, but not much mass.
Yeah.
Fundora's the same way. A lot of people saying, "Oh, well, he should be fighting over here and over there." I follow his sister on Instagram, and you should see the way that they eat when they're in camp. They going out to dinner, eating whole pizzas and everything. Clearly, they're not having any difficulty making weight.
None. Either one of them.
Fondora looked, but his sister just didn't make sense to me. That's a dirt, like, God did. That was amazing work with her, cause it's like she fight at a way lower weight class.
Yeah, 112.
I'm like, sheesh, how?
5'9".
How
She's
is that
5'9".
even possible?
Yeah, and
She's
she
5'9".
recently stated that she could actually go down in weight.
Wow.
After her last fight, she's like, I could actually go down in weight. I'm like, this is it's just genetic freaks, man.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Another thing about Fundora too, the both of them, but especially Sebastian, you know how you see a lot of fighters, right, where they'll look a little emaciated, they'll look a little gaunt and sickly, like at weigh-ins. And then when you see them in the ring, when they rehydrated, they look so filled out. They're like a different person.
Totally different, yeah.
Fundora looked close to the same. Like when you see him at the weigh-in, that's pretty much how he look on fight night.
Mm-hmm.
He look like he don't even rehydrate much. You're not about to like come in 153 and then, you know, on fight night he's like 175 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, nah, he's probably 160, 161, something like that when he's in the ring.
Probably put on less than 10 pounds.
You know, his last fight against Cordell Booker,
Mm-hmm.
he weighed in at 152 on the scale. I was like, what the?
Wow. 152.
And I saw a brief little video of him working out. They said he was cutting down from like 160.
Mm.
So he only got like 6 pounds to lose.
That's all.
It's crazy.
So he really fighting at his natural weight.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he walk around at, basically.
Pretty much. Like, give or take.
What y'all got on that big one next weekend? We've been talking about that for a long time, man. Ain't that next weekend? Monster
that?
and Nakatani? May 2nd, right?
Oh yeah, May 2nd. Yeah, that's a month away.
April. Oh damn, April. Yeah, man. I wanted to see that. So
April's 2 days. April's 2
Yeah,
days away, basically.
I done skipped the entire month. Wow.
That one I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I feel like Monster gonna be too much for him though.
You think so, Joe?
I feel like Nakatani more skilled than him though.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on his last performance, it like he having a tough time at that weight because of the size.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was his debut.
Monster got that pop.
That was his debut at 122. So, and that other dude that he fought though, that dude, man, he was pretty rugged.
Yeah, he underrated.
I think Monster is exceptional, but he don't fight like that. Like Monster's not a press you out, get you up out of there type of guy. Like you said, like he got the skills, but it's his pop. You know what I mean? Like he's a boxer, but he could punch.
Mm-hmm.
That other dude was like straight up pressure. Because Junto was hitting him with some good shots, but that guy just kept coming. He was relentless.
Yeah.
Did he fight Monster before? The dude he just fought, that Nakatani fought?
Nah, he didn't fight him.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see who he fought besides, like what type of competition he fought compared to Monster on that type of level. Cause that was a real good fight. I thought he could have won that fight.
I think their competition is relatively the same because, you know, at the lower weight classes, there's a lot of really good fighters. Let me start off by saying that there's a lot of really good fighters, but, you know, they don't have the notoriety, so they get overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who's at the world level, championship level, they're pretty quality. I think the thing that separates Monster and to a lesser extent Nakatani is the fact that they punching at those lower weight classes. You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of those smaller guys where they got skills, but they don't necessarily have the punching power.
Right.
You got like very few Bam Rodriguez's around at like 115. You know what I mean? Like very few Junto Nakatanis and Monster Inoue's, guys that got 70, 75 plus KO ratios at like bantamweight. You don't really see too many of them.
Nah, not at all. Down there. Mm-mm. But yeah, like I said, some good fighters. Nakatani got a very good resume.
No, he does.
That 118, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't saying Nakatani resume, the dude that he just fought.
Oh, the one he fought. Oh, okay.
Because he real good.
Yeah,
like,
that's what you're saying.
I wonder how he would do against Monster.
Okay.
He could beat Monster to me. Because I don't think Monster got the boxing skill like Nakatani got. He got the power difference, though. That could change it. But that dude looked like that power might not even get to him. He looked like a big for that weight. Like
he did, right? He did look pretty big.
Mm-hmm. And like you say, and he was coming, kept
Oh my
coming.
goodness.
Yeah, he was
That
talking
dude,
about up
that
the
dude
roof.
refused. He refused to be denied, bro. It
Hmm.
was shots he was getting hit with, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
this is the one that's gonna slow him. And then even when he got hit to the body, he was slowed down momentarily. Then he was
Hmm.
right back on the press. It was like watching
Yeah.
Jason or something.
Yeah, I was always more worried for Nakatani than him. Even when he was Nakatani was just boxing circles around him, but
Yeah, he
he
was
wasn't
right.
with none of that.
He
Yeah.
wasn't. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know a lot of people saw like Junto just got pressed out, and optically it looked worse than what it was. Because remember there was the
Yeah.
clash of heads, and Junto got his eye swollen
Hmm.
from the headbutt. But that point that you just made, John, that was something that really stuck out to me. I was like, damn, Junto got better legs than I thought. Because I'm used to seeing Junto just like being in the center of the ring and just kind of like trading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was coming up from 118, and at 118 he was bigger than most of the guys that he was facing, so he was able to just stand there and kind of like trade with him and get him up out of there. You know, he had to equalize at 118, but at 122, I was impressed by his opponent, just like the way he came and the way he acquitted himself. But I was also impressed by Junto's legs. I was like, damn, Junto got some pretty good legs, because he was on that bike like moving clockwise, counterclockwise, in and out, side to side. I was like, man, he got good legs.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great tune up too for
Yeah, it
just the
was.
difference with Monster. It's like Monster gonna land them one punches that'll devastate you. Like,
Yeah.
because if you hit him, it just piss him off and make him come even harder. But like, I kind of want Nakatani. I like his style, so I'm rooting for Nakatani though.
Hmm.
I'm rooting for him too, because I've been a fan of his for a while now.
Yeah.
Because I like his style. I like the little things that he does. Like when I see him, like operating in a fight where he's got the height and reach advantage, he fights like the taller man, and I appreciate that. Because I can't tell you how I used to get so frustrated watching guys like Paul Williams, or even a
Hmm.
Oh
couple
my
years
goodness.
ago, Robert Easter, and it's like, bro, you
Yeah. Perfect
six
example.
six 6 feet tall at 130 pounds, and you just forfeiting your advantages like off the rip.
Hmm.
Even
Especially
Sebastian
when he's
Fedor is
so like
frustrating.
Yeah,
Paul
you in there
Williams
getting
is
out
the
jabbed
worst
and
for
stuff.
me, the worst one like that, cause like he got everything a boxer like he got all the skills.
Yep,
So I feel like that's the only reason he'll lose a fight is cause he choosing a fight like that.
yep. Like when he lost to my guy Sergio Martinez. Remember like when he got clipped like that? It's like, bro,
Yeah.
you could have fought from range. But he
Hmm.
liked to mix it up too much. Just too much. I think Paul Williams, he didn't really ease his way into a fight. It wasn't like, all right, I'm gonna establish myself, and then once I see this guy starting to dissipate a little bit, then I'm
Hmm.
gonna step to him and start putting hands on him. Off the rip, he's just going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And I
beat him
like
on
him,
the.
so I used to always be like, come on,
He
man.
had
I used to
outpointed
be
him once,
worried the
remember?
whole fight.
Before. Remember? He outpointed him in the first fight, so.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
he's just so frustrating to watch because I agree once again, y'all. Like Paul Williams had good technique,
Hmm.
he had size, he had good pop. He actually had just like pretty good fundamentals. I was watching some of his fights. I'm like, yo, like you got it. Why you just throw it away? It'd be
And
one
that's the
thing if he
only
was a dude
chance they
like
be having to beat him.
it'd be one thing if he was a dude like Alfredo Angulo or somebody like that, where like you don't really have too many qualities outside of just being rugged and having punching
Hmm.
power. Then I'd be like, all right, cool. I could
Yeah.
see why you would just get straight to it. But with Paul Williams, I felt like he could have still been the Punisher, but went about it in a more intelligent way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
that's what I
Like
like about Junto Nakatani.
yeah. Yeah, he's smart. He got
Junto's
a nice
smart, but he'll
style.
mix it up with you. He'll mix it up with you if you close the gap. But he ain't gonna just step in and just try to press neither. Like he'll try to
Mm-mm.
maintain the range as best as he can. And if you close the gap, then he got a pretty good inside game too. You close the gap, I got something for that too.
Yeah,
So he
that's
got the
gonna be super.
versatility. He's got the versatility. I'm rooting for him against Monster. No disrespect to Monster because I think he's a fabulous fighter.
Yeah.
The thing that I like most about him personally, I love his left hook to the liver. Like his left hook to the body is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Monster
is.
a trip. I do like he vicious. I like that. I just like Nakatani style. And then his last fight, he showed a lot of heart.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Nakatani too, but I don't know. It's gonna be a
Yeah, he
tough one.
did. He definitely showed a lot of heart. Hey, and another thing I really like about Monster anyway, um, the point that you made, Ja, about just like how he gets meaner, right? I was so impressed with him when he fought the Spanish dude, Luis Mary.
Yeah.
I was
Louis.
so impressed because how many fighters have you seen hit the deck and then they're just in full blown panic mode? Either they get flighty and they just
Mm-hmm.
start moving way too much and they get gun shy, or they try to prove that they're not hurt and then they just get reckless and they end up getting caught with something else, or they just don't allow themselves the opportunity to recover. Like Zab Judah comes to mind, like the famous chicken dance. Remember when he got clipped by Costa
Yeah.
Zoo and he tried
Yeah.
to hop up and prove that he wasn't hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, just take the full 8 count. Stay
Right.
down, take the
Got it.
knee.
Use it. Yeah.
Yeah, use it. Get your bearings. Like, you don't have to hop up and prove nothing to nobody.
Mm-mm. No.
Clear your head, stay steady yourself, and work yourself back into the fight. Work yourself
That
back
was
into the
messed up
fight.
how they stopped that though. I still feel like that was a bad stoppage.
You think so?
I
They
don't
ain't even
think
give him a chance.
he didn't give himself a chance though, because he didn't take the full 8 count. Like he hopped
Mm.
up and then he was all over the place. If you
Mm.
drifting this way, drifting that way, the ref is clearly thinking like, yo, it's gonna be one more shot and you're gonna be up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, like, just take the time and then just work yourself back into the fight. I
I'm
was watching
definitely
the
biased.
interview.
I'm definitely
Yeah,
biased.
he definitely messed
I
up when
love
he
Zab
bounced right
Judah
back up
back
like
then.
that.
I
Nah,
Really.
Zab is
used to love
phenomenal in his
Zab
prime.
Judah.
Yeah.
Zab is phenomenal in his prime, but he did himself no favors
Yeah.
by the way that he handled himself in that moment. And I can't knock him for handling himself that way in the moment because, hell, I've never been spun like that,
Mm-hmm.
clipped with a shot like that. So I don't know how the hell I would react. But
I mean,
I
you
will
right
say
though.
this. What's that, John?
That's Zab Judah's biggest flaw is that immaturity. That's his
It
biggest
cost him
flaw
in the
as a
Floyd
boxer.
fight. Cost him
Yeah.
in the Floyd fight because he
Yep.
was doing
Sure
well.
did.
Yo,
Mm-hmm.
he had Floyd befuddled for about 4 or 5 rounds. Floyd was struck. Yo, I'd never seen Floyd reach so much in a fight. I rewatched that fight after Canelo versus Bud
Mm-hmm.
because there was that conversation. How would Bud be able to deal with Floyd and who would win and so on and so forth? And I think that Floyd is phenomenal. But there was one thing that really stood out to me in that fight with Zab. When Zab was able to nullify his jab and had him leading with the straight right,
Mm-hmm.
Bud with the longer reach, I think that he gives Floyd an extremely tough time because he's just as smart, just as savvy, but then he's also got that little something extra. And Zab, in that fight, he was just like a mental midget. Like he just gave it away. It got to the point where he got frustrated, started doing like 52 hand blocks and all that weird stuff with his guard and all that. It was just too much with the
Yeah, he
low
hit Floyd
blows. And,
low. That he
yeah,
just did that
Mm-hmm.
because he
Rapid
was getting
punch.
frustrated.
Yeah.
turned into Andrew Galata.
Powerful.
I gotta send you this interview. I'm not sure if you ever seen it before, Cass, because it's right up your alley.
Okay.
But I was watching an interview with Archie Moore, and it was a fantastic interview. But he was talking about the fight that he had with Yvonne Durrell. Remember when he got dropped 3 times in that fight,
Yeah.
and he came back to win. He came back to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviewer asked him like, what was going through your mind at that time? He said, "Yo, I just had to recall everything that I had learned as a youth, as an amateur,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to just survive it." And he said, "I was cognizant of the fact that I got knocked down early in the fight,
Right.
so I
No,
still got 10+ rounds to work myself back into the fight. I
yeah.
don't gotta go crazy. I don't gotta get reckless and try to get it back with one shot.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna just
No,
try to make up some of the rounds, close. You know what I mean? Because
yeah. No, I
I
haven't
think he
seen
dropped
that one. I haven't
he
seen
dropped
that one.
he dropped him like 3 times in one round, so it was like a 10-7 round or something like that,
Yeah, early
or like
too.
a 10-6. It
Mm-hmm.
was early. It was like round 2, round 3. So
Yeah.
Archie Moore was like, "Yo, I just played it cool and then just relied on my experience. I'm gonna keep my head and I'm gonna box my way back into the fight. I'm gonna wear him down. Then when the opportunity presents itself, that's when I'm gonna look to catch him with a big shot. But I'm not gonna just try to get it back in one shot and get reckless and mess around and get caught while I'm still buzzed."
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna flip that back over to Monster Inoue in the Luis Neri fight when he got dropped by that left hook early on in round 2.
Yeah.
He took the whole 8 count. He stayed on one knee until he cleared himself, looked up at the ref, looked at his corner, gave him the head nod, then he got back to business.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked himself back in the fight and he ended up stopping there. So
Yeah.
that right there showed a lot of maturity, but he also didn't allow that to deter him. He didn't get reckless. He wasn't immature in the moment.
He went right
I
back
was
to his
impressed
game
with that.
plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then in the fight with the first fight against the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire, he got
Yeah.
his orbital bone fractured in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's an injury that you see a
Ooh,
lot of guys resign from.
that's it. Yeah.
Joe Joyce, when he got his joint broke by Big Bang Zhang,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't continue.
No.
Billy Joe Saunders, when he got clipped by that shot with Canelo broke his orbital bone with that uppercut.
Yeah.
He couldn't continue.
That's it.
Daniel Dubois, when he got caught with that shot by Joe Joyce, couldn't continue. And then what's my man's name from the UK? I was a big fan of his. Sonny Edwards.
Yeah, Sonny. Yeah.
Bam Rodriguez cracked his. He couldn't continue. Ugas, when Errol Spence cracked his, he couldn't continue. Errol Spence, when he cracked, what's my man's name? Kel Brooks.
Yep.
He couldn't continue. Monster Inoue got his joint cracked, and they say you see double vision and all that. He boxed
Yeah.
smart after that and fought his way to a decision.
Yep. Went the
So
distance.
yeah, went the distance. So he's not one of them dudes that you can easily deter. He got dropped by Ramon Cardenas early in that fight with the left hand. Got up,
Mm-hmm.
end up stopping the guy. So he's poised, he's mature, and he's also clutch. And he's smart, you know? So Monster's like he's terrific. He's a tremendous fighter. But stylistically, I do favor Junto Nakatani because I just like his versatility because he could box long and he could box on the inside as well. And one thing I really really love about him is he reminds me of like Dwight Muhammad Kwawi in the sense that like when he's throwing certain shots,
Mm-hmm.
he's always layering it with a measure of defensive responsibility. Like if you see the way that he throws his straight left hand, he
Mm-hmm.
always slipping his head off to the right when he's throwing that shot.
As he doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always slipping his head off center line as he's throwing the shots. It's simultaneous. So I like seeing fighters that fight like that. You know what I mean? I was a big fan of James Toney. You know, he's
Yeah.
notorious for slipping and coming back with shots. So I like that about Junto's game. But against Monster, I think Monster definitely has that one punch power that Ja alluded to. And it's carried up to 122 too. And this is a guy that started at what, like 105 or something like that?
Yeah, I believe it was strawweight. 105. Yeah. He was way down there.
Way down there. And
Yeah.
that power came with him.
Every step of the way.
People say what they want about them hand razzles, but all them little dudes ain't cracking like that. His brother ain't punching like that.
No,
Takuma,
Takuma,
anyway,
no,
he ain't punching like that. He got like 5 knockouts in like 23 fights, and they probably wrap their hands the same way.
same way.
Monster Inoue just God gifted, bro.
Yeah, he got
That's
that
just a
power.
gift
Yeah,
from God. That type of pop.
Yeah,
I
And,
think he
and
just got that core strength. Like he just do a lot of push-ups. Like some people, they lift weights and all that. You know.
I think their father underrated as a trainer. He don't never get no recognition. It's one of them cases like the fighter's so good that the trainer just get overlooked all the time. I thought that year when Monster got his second undisputed in 4 belt and Takuma won his first title that year, I thought their father should have got trainer of the year. I think it was like 2023 or something like that. But he never even got mentioned. You know?
yeah, I mean, you make an excellent point though. That's generally the case
Yeah.
when you got a talent. Because the one part that often gets overlooked in that equation, you got a fantastic fighter.
Yeah.
Folks think that all you got to do is just stand there with a towel over your shoulder
Right.
and he just handles the rest.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like, who taught him all those things?
That's
Like,
right.
you raised him up from a youngin' and instilled these habits, these good habits,
Yeah. And
and sharpened the form and the technique and gave him the insight to be able to make adjustments when necessary.
And he still got game plans every fight and everything too, no matter how good he is, you know. You still helping him out on that type of stuff too. But yeah, that's the case though. Sometimes the fighter is so good that, like you say, they say that trainer just giving them water or whatever, That's all you got to do.
Forget about the countless hours and weeks and months and years of repetition.
Yeah.
All of the tutelage, the things that we see the product, we see the end product when they step in the ring. But everything that they cultivate to be able to perform like that on a consistent basis.
Yeah, to get to that point.
Yeah, so
I
part
think
of it is the
Shakur one of
talent.
them type of fighters too.
Yeah,
Like
you're right, John.
Team don't get a recognition.
You're exactly right. His grandfather, yep. You're exactly right. I was thinking him too. He kind of underrated too. I forgot his name. Yeah, but
Wally Moses.
Yeah, Wally. Yeah. That's kind of like similar. Look at all the, because I think he started Shakur when he was like 5 or something.
Yeah, he started him off young. Shakur was actually playing baseball first. And then his grandfather did a terrific interview, by the way, with Behind the Hands TV. Shout out to the Mo City Menace.
Okay.
It was a really, really good interview. But he was saying when he first realized that Shakur was really accurate, it actually wasn't in a boxing ring. But they were at I can't remember if it was a county fair or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was an axe throwing competition. And Shakur was a little kid, never threw an axe a day in his life. Threw an axe and, hit the bullseye.
Wow.
It's like, damn, he's real accurate. Then he realized he had really good hand-eye coordination from, playing baseball and stuff. Because Shakur played baseball too, played Little League.
Yeah.
And some of those qualities, they transferred over to boxing. The hand-eye coordination and the processing and all that stuff. But yeah, I agree, Ja. I feel the same way, honestly, about them guys over at the Upton gym.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Like, personally, Coach Calvin, that's his best attribute as a coach. He could unlock the potential in anybody because he pay attention like that. And even though he do get a lot of credit compared to like Shakur grandfather, it still ain't even getting the credit that like he really unlocked that. He pay attention in a certain way, and then his addition to, if you listen to him, you'll win every time. You could listen. He one of them coaches. You could listen to him. You don't even have to think for yourself.
Yeah, he seems to have his finger on the pulse, knowing how to communicate and what needs to be said when it needs to be said.
Yeah.
And I'm very very fond of Coach Kenny.
Now
I,
that's a person I feel don't get the true respect and credit that he is deserved. I think that Coach Kenny is definitely a very integral part in their game planning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's pretty nah. I can't speak to like how he believes fights will play out, but just looking at who he's about to fight, whom he's going to coach against, and the way that they break down the analysis of the film is second to none. And on top of that, man, he knows his stuff. He knows where you place punches. He knows how you set punches up, and he knows how you evade on the run and everything. Like, man, I just think that his portion in the ring should not be overstated as well, too, or
See, I
undervalued.
think I think that Coach Kenny be getting a lot of respect that he deserved. I think he more the way he more well spoken than Coach Calvin. So I think he get closer to the credit that he deserved. It's a difference between I feel like they equal when it comes to that. You could just listen to them, but it's a difference when it comes to Coach Kenny real good at he could pick another fighter apart and see all their flaws like
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
Coach Calvin he know with the offense he know how to like what shot is going like oh I see this shot right here throw that one like Coach Kenny more he find a shot from the perspective of I know how this fighter coming I didn't picked him apart.
He probably watch a lot of film, don't he, Coach Kenny? Seem like.
yeah, and not only that, but also one of the things I thought was really interesting. I remember around the time when they were preparing for Frank Martin, he was talking about his anatomy and the structure of his face.
Mm.
Got high cheekbones. You got this and
Yeah.
that, so on and so forth.
Well, that's deep.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And I think little things like that, they certainly go a long way when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to understanding an opponent.
Yeah.
Because I remember I actually took some notes when they announced that when they were in talks with Lomachenko. I took some
Mm-hmm.
notes that I wanted to pass to Coach Kenny. Because every time I speak to him on the Rise podcast, I always ask him to give me a fight. Give me a
Yeah.
fight to watch. So I got a list of fights that I've watched, like from Boom Boom Mancini versus Livingstone, Brand Bull, and
Yeah.
this one and that. I'm like, yo, just give me a fight to watch. You always give me a fight. So I was taking notes on Lomachenko, and I was looking at his injury history and all that stuff. I started thinking like a forensic scientist. I still got the document on my laptop. It's like I know how many times he hit, like torn his labrum, got the joint surgically repaired in like 2018, and so on and
Yeah.
so forth.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how Coach Kenny is. Like he to the point where like I feel like I don't know what Coach Kenny background in fighting himself is. I know Coach Calvin,
Mm.
he fight himself, so he
Yeah.
coming like that. But Coach Kenny, like, man, he wear these type of socks. Those socks over this amount of time gonna make your feet feel like that. This gonna affect them for sure. Like he
Yeah.
down to that point.
Yeah. Wow.
And I know he said that he's like a huge proponent of watching nature documentaries as he's watching film on opponents. So you look at how like a scorpion fights a tarantula and just little stuff like that. It's like it's real quirky, but it's interesting and it's very specific.
Bozy and them don't get their credit either though. They don't get that credit. I think he definitely don't get his just due credit.
I
You
think
gotta think, cause he got like Floyd had all them professional fighters, and they thugged out too. And then that's kind of how Boots family like that too. Like they hood and they got a lot of professionals. But it just like people just look at Boo like, oh, he just amazing, gifted, but like he got a great team, a lot of knowledge.
They do, but I think that Bozy is really, really good with the offensive side of things. I think that like with as Boots progresses in his career,
Hmm.
they just gotta just tighten up with the small things. With the small things. Like he should be taking too many pictures. It's like you got a great chin. He's got a damn good chin. Boots takes a really good shot. But when I watch some of these fights back, like rewatching both of the Karen fights,
Hmm.
there's just shots that I think a guy as talented as him, it's not that no everybody's gonna get hit. So I'm
Right.
not gonna say that he gets hit too much. I think that's a bit overblown, and that's over. That would be an overstatement.
Hmm.
I just do think that there are certain instances where it's like he'd be able to avoid things and make guys have to actually work for him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I
And
honestly
yeah.
feel like he purposely fought Karen like that so somebody could feel like he get hit too much and he can't cut the ring off and stuff like cut. I really feel like Boots is
Mm.
like out of anybody they really be trying to duck him.
I do too. I do too, because I believe that he's got a little bit of what Nazim Richardson said about Errol Spence many years ago, when he was like, Errol Spence is special, but we don't know how special.
Hmm.
And you don't want to be the one to find out how
Right.
special he is against.
Hmm.
It's like nobody wants to really test the waters for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's kind of in a similar position as far as I think he's actually beaten some quality names,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it hasn't been any guys that we haven't seen somebody else do something similar to him.
Right.
Kind of like Errol Spence. Like, for example, like Thomas Delorme is not a scrub, right? But we didn't already seen other guys already, like most notably like Bud Crawford,
Yeah. That's a perfect example. Hmm.
like even David Avanesian. Like David Avanesian has a pretty good resume. Thomas and I were actually looking at his resume one day in the Casuals Corners, like, damn, like this
Hmm.
dude done fought Shane Mosley, he done fought Bud, he done fought
But
Boots,
yeah.
he done fought what's my man's name? That's the champion now, 154, Josh Kelly. He actually
Hmm.
beat Josh Kelly, he
A
knocked him
couple
out.
other men. Yeah.
I
Abernesian
feel
does.
I feel like it's messed up though when that first Karen fight, I feel like Boots pitched a shutout without even cutting the ring off.
I rewatched it. I didn't feel that way, honestly. I didn't feel like he pitched a shutout. I thought he won, but it wasn't like a shutout because it wasn't impressive at all to me. Because there were quite a few moments in that fight where, like, literally, he was whiffing so hard that he was spinning himself around.
That's what make it impressive to me just because like it's hard to like if somebody was fighting Shakur like the way Boots was he wasn't even cutting the ring off. It's so hard to land and even win against a person like that. They just gonna keep you gonna keep running into stuff.
I definitely had him winning the fight for sure. I
Hmm.
had him winning the fight, but I wasn't like, but I also wasn't too down on him either. I'm not like, oh, he's a bum. He ain't this, that, or that. If anything, it made me respect Karen more. It didn't change my opinion of Boots. I didn't feel like, oh, he trash. Like, nah, maybe this
Yeah,
is
I
just
would
one
like to see
element of his
somebody
game he needs
else
to work on.
like I
I
would like
thought
to
that
see
was gonna be the
somebody else
second
fight
fight
Karen and see
because I
how
was
they
at that
do.
fight. Yeah.
Like
Well,
who else fought Karen?
I don't really. I couldn't really tell you to be honest with you.
I've seen, you know, what's
And
so
what
odd about him. I've seen a number of his fights, but I can't recall the names of the opponents,
Hmm.
especially the last one. The last dude, he stopped him in like 2 rounds. But I can't remember what the gentleman's name was. But I'll say this: sometimes certain guys just have attributes that make it a difficult fight. You know what I mean? So it's like if you look at 154, who really got the legs like that? because I think that Boots is athletic. I think he's quick. He's got fast feet, but I don't think he necessarily has good feet. They're not horrible, but they're just decent. Because both fights, I don't give a damn what he said about, oh, I didn't get up for the fight. No, because both times he was turning you and turning you, especially when Boots was southpaw. And then his dad was on his case about reaching with his brick hand. Then every time he's throwing, he was falling in. Round 8, his father Bozy was screaming at the top of his lungs, "Yo, stop falling in! I told you, stop falling in." He was heated. So I think that Boots, for all the talent that he has, it's just a matter of just tightening up the small things. I think that he's so talented that he's gotten away from doing the small things.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Yeah,
Because seeing him live, man,
kind of like a Roy Jones, like almost.
yeah. But I think the thing with Roy though, I think the thing with Roy is Roy was able to anchor himself a tad bit better than Boots was. Like I've been binging Roy Jones fights.
Yeah.
And like people say, well, Roy be fighting with his hands down and this, that, and the third. But the main thing you got to pay attention to is the range. More often than not, Roy was fighting at a range
Right.
where he could afford to fight with his hands down. He wasn't just like toe to toe with his hands
Roy,
up.
Right.
Roy was better at setting up shots like than Boots is, for sure. But I feel like Boots has to do that with whoever he got to get in the ring. That's the messed up part. I feel like if he try to just use like all the skills, he got to be a little reckless just for his dead part.
Still there, Tom? Oh, Tom blinked off.
Nah, I think Boots has really good skills. He's one thing that impressed me most seeing him in person was his accuracy.
Yeah, you bet. Go ahead, Ant.
I was impressed by his precision. Cause like seeing it on TV. Like I watched the fight back, the Stanionis fight. It didn't do it justice. Cause like hearing both of their punches live, Stanionis definitely sounded like he was the bigger puncher than Boots. Without a shadow of a doubt. Like even his punches that was like hitting on gloves, like punches that Boots was blocking and catching. Stanionis got some steam on them. Shot like them hands were sounding heavy. Boots' punches didn't sound like that, but the accuracy, the placement on them shots, especially when he was like landing to the body, and when he was landing the uppercut, like because Stanionis, he kind of keep his head over his knee a little bit, because he crouch over he behind the high guard, almost like an armadillo. That's how he looks to me, like an armadillo or something like that. But when Boots was landing those shots, it wasn't like a loud bang. It was almost like a marksman with a suppressor on his. It's like it was crazy.
Like he hurt Stanionis real bad though. Like, and I feel like these fighters the top fighters at 147 right now, I feel like they don't want to fight Karen or Stanionis. And I feel like Karen to beat all the top 147s right now, and Stanionis is a 50-50.
I like Stanionis, yeah.
And just because Boots fought him and how good he is, they ain't nobody. But like, Stanionis get everybody top fighter at 147 to run for their money right now. I feel like Karen to beat him.
I think so too.
Stanionis got two things. He got three things actually. One, he got a motor. Two, he's got really good fundamentals. I think he's actually a little too fundamental at times. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think he's so fundamental to the point where he's just like you know how he gonna come. You know what I mean? Like he's so conventional. He don't do nothing off script.
Nothing.
It's just he gonna come with his hands up, high and tight.
With high guard, leaning forward.
Yup.
Yep.
He gonna work behind the guard. I mean, work
Mm-hmm.
behind the jab. He gonna double it. Then he gonna fire the right hand. It's kind of like when you see like how Errol Spence was. It's like double
Mm-hmm.
jab, straight left hand, jab, straight left, like 1-2. Like he's not gonna do anything crazy. It's gonna be basic as hell, but he's so steady, so steady. Like that fight that he had against Butayev a couple
Yeah.
years ago. That
Mm-hmm.
fight was so impressive. And me personally, I thought that he was going to be able to withstand a little bit more,
Yeah.
make it to the back half of the fight, and then potentially catch up with Boots
Yeah.
and make it a much closer fight. But again, I gotta say, it was the precision. It wasn't even
Yeah.
the power. It was the placement on them shots. Because he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It wasn't like he was hitting Stanionis with like super big shots. They was just right on the money. That uppercut that he landed
Yeah.
was like right on the bridge of his nose. Like the moment it
Mm-hmm.
landed, his nose was just leaking.
Yep.
When he started touching him to the body, the stab was like right on the solar plexus. When he started
Yeah.
landing the left hook to the body, it was like right on the liver,
Yeah. He was like a surgeon, man.
like
In
a
that fight.
surgeon.
Yeah.
Like remember that game back in the day, Operation,
Mm-hmm.
when you got the little tweezers and you gotta
Yeah.
remove the heart and remove the foot. Like that's how Boots was in there.
Mm-hmm.
He was just super duper precise. Stanionis' shots, they sounded so damn heavy. I'm like, it was like a little lunging jab. It was like half jab, half gazelle punch that he caught Boots with, and
Mm-hmm.
he's popped Boots head back. I'm like, how the hell is Boots? His recovery was just like that too. Like Boots
Yeah.
could take a damn good shot. Caught him with a short little left hand right on the chin, like because Boots was like along the ropes, and he had like a single high shield, had his
Yeah.
lead hand extended, but he wasn't occupying nothing. So Stanionis came right up the middle, short little left hand, like half jab, half hook, kind of shovelish.
Mm-hmm.
Said, damn. Boots shook it off, got right back to work with the precision. But I think Xander Zayas can give Boots a damn good fight though, because of his legs. Because of
That's
his
gonna be
legs.
good. Yeah, that was the best I seen Xander that last fight, man. I was impressed. Wow, that was a really good performance.
It was. It
Uh,
was.
yes.
Very mature. Very mature.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I like that he called on his experience that he had. You know,
Yeah.
him and Abbas Barrow, they did over 70 rounds of sparring together.
Okay.
So
I
when they
can
were in
see
the
that.
ring,
Yeah.
it looked like it.
Yeah.
Like
Now that you
Xander
said
fought
that,
like
yeah,
it.
I didn't even know that, but now looking back at it, you can see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He fought like it. But I think he's
Yeah.
got the legs to make it an interesting fight. I don't think he's gonna hurt Boots or anything like that. But if he could avoid getting like broken down to the body or something,
Mm-hmm.
he could make it extremely interesting. And fight to one of those close decisions where it'd be like, man, it could go either way.
Yeah. Something like that.
Majority split, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I can't see him just like absolutely whitewashing Boots. Like Boots is way too talented. Now I
Yeah.
could see a scenario where Boots catches him with a shot and
And get
able to
Xander's
just
out.
yeah, I think that what's name got the Boots. Boots has the power and the precision to be able to get Xander up out of there. But I do
Mm-hmm.
think that Xander has the legs
Yeah, especially after watching his last fight.
to
You
stave that
know.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last fight especially, and I would
Mm-hmm.
say so because Abbas Barrow has good legs himself. And the
Yeah.
one thing I really like about the way that he conducts himself is his positioning. Like watching that fight against what's my man's name? He's about to fight Brian Mendoza
Oh,
tomorrow night.
yeah,
Yoenis Tellez,
yeah. Tell us. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In that fight, Abbas Barrow, he was operating like, you ever see the little labyrinth that they have with the mice
No,
when
I
they when
can't.
they when they run in the test? You probably seen one before, like the laboratory mice. They put them in a little maze, and then they
Oh,
drop little blockers and stuff
yeah,
like that
yeah.
to
I
try
see
to
it.
redirect where they're gonna
Hmm.
go.
Yeah.
That was Abbas Barrow in that fight versus Yoenis Tellez.
Mm.
Yoenis Tellez wanted to go to his circle to his right because he was
Yeah.
boxing southpaw for the majority of the fight. So
Hmm.
wise to stay away from the power hand of Abbas Barrow. Every time he tried to move to his right, Abbas took a half step back and then stepped over to his left and beat him
Mm.
to the spot and made him go back the other way towards his right hand. I
Yeah.
was like, man. And it's little stuff like that, like just
Yeah.
the positioning. And Abbas is a very decorated amateur. Think he was like bronze in the world games or something like that.
Mm.
So he's got a lot of experience on the world circuit, fighting a
Yeah.
variety of styles.
Different styles and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that one fight against, I think it might have been like Sam Eggington, where he was boxing on the back foot, and I said, "Damn, he could do a little bit of everything." Then you see
Mm.
the Yoenis Tellez fight; he was the one who was in pursuit, and not only was he applying pressure, but he was doing it intelligently, not just with the jab, but also with his positioning, making Tellez go where he wanted to go, and it made it so much easier for him to locate him. It wasn't like he was coming in a straight line and just following the guy around and allow him to go
Mhm.
this way and that way. Like, no, brother, you gonna go, you gonna go clockwise the whole fight. I'm gonna keep you going the direction I want you to go in.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. And I say that to say this: the way that Xander Zayas was able to circumvent that, I said, man, Xander's got a good set of legs on him. Because
Hmm.
the Bass is no slouch in that department. He's got pretty good speed. Um, Generally picks the right angles, but most importantly, his positioning is A1. Like he knows how to not only cut the ring off, but influence the opponent to go the way he wants him to go. And Xander would not cooperate.
Mm-mm.
Good legs, man. Good legs.
That's gonna be a very interesting fight. Him and Boots. Can't wait for it. But I gotta get ready to get up out of here now, gentlemen.
All right.
It was a pleasure talking and chopping it up, man. Just listening to the dialogue. I appreciate that.
Yeah, most definitely. Always a good conversation when Ed come up. We could go for hours, man. But I appreciate everybody. Today is Friday, so next week we're gonna talk about the 1990s in boxing. Some fights, some great fighters. The 90s was also a very good decade for the heavyweight. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at that and a few different things. But I appreciate everybody for coming through today. Great panel. Thomas Hill, Ant McQueen, and Jaw. Oh yeah, Jaw. I forgot to Jaw sent me a super chat. I forgot to even thank him for it. Wow. Damn, I get him next time. I forgot all about it. Jaw, if you're still in here, I appreciate that super chat, bro. But on that note, everybody have a great weekend. Just Do Boxing is probably already in progress. I am out. Oh, damn, I thought I was off.